Theoretically.
I can't say that S word, right? It's got to be championship.
No,
Jesse,
unless you say it in conjunction with Tito's or Quick Trip, you can say Super Bowl.
All right,
the
well,
goal
it's a
is
quick
the
trip
Super Bowl.
to find a champ. So, anyways, you're leaving out of Green Bay, and you're headed down, and I'm guessing you're going to take 43, probably down to 65, and that takes you down. Well, I really felt like the first 3 or 4 weeks of the season, it was all detours. Everything, we just couldn't really get started. This team, Jordan gets his knee hurt. You had to go to Brazil, big detour. Then you're coming down the road, and you have to go with Malik Willis, and you have to do this. And you don't know, you have the Romeo Dobbs situation. You have all these other things that are just moving. Christian Watson's hurt. Jair's hurt. Yesterday, and help me on the road situation because I don't know for sure. Yesterday, we finally got back off of the ferry. We got off of all of the different road things, and we now have placed ourselves on I-65 heading south, right down, following the Mississippi. And now we are finally, after going through a bunch, we have finally gotten our wheels on the ground. And now, does that mean it's smooth sailing? Take 65 and we're going to be in Nolans? No. There's going to be some stops. You got to get gas. You have to stop and get a rest. You're going to have some bumps. There might be another road that maybe there's going to be potholes. We got to get Johnson and Sons out there. All of those things. But yesterday felt like the start of this season's campaign with the team that we think can win a championship. That's what I felt like yesterday was.
Are you stealing my I-43 analogy of many years ago about development? And there's, are you up to Sheboygan? Are you in Manitowoc if you're going from Milwaukee to Green Bay?
No, I'm not stealing anything.
Yeah, this feels like a little plagiarism-y.
It's not.
You think this is an original thought, but now you're realizing.
So yesterday, no,
I used this.
As you know, my stream of consciousness takes me in places. I don't always know where it's going. But in this case, I just felt like yesterday's game is what got me thinking it, not you saying something about going to Sheboygan in 2016. Okay, if I'm being honest.
Sure.
Yesterday, it just the way Jordan played, he took what the defense gave him. It wasn't, it wasn't a, oh my God, it was Jordan's back. He's running, he's sliding. I don't worry about his knee anymore. That is over. That's back done. That's gone. So that's a big piece to getting the wheels on the road and the bus going round and round. That part, the defense, you're starting to see what this defense is going to be. They were ball hawks. Yes, they were physical, got after it, and accomplishing objective one. Jeff Hafley's objectives, I'm fairly confident saying, is similar to mine. Don't let Kyler Murray beat you out of the pocket with runs. If he's going to wing some and throw some balls over the middle and make some plays, great. He did that very rarely. They let him rush for 16 yards. They created three turnovers. They ran the ball effectively enough, even though I'm not on board. I didn't think yesterday's was great, and they still ran for $179. It was hard, physical. LaFleur stuck with the run, which I appreciate. It was just a yeoman's, this is I'm on the right track, here we go. Let's go. And the car is loaded, the luggage is packed, the tank is full, and we are on the highway, and we're rolling. That's what yesterday was to me.
And I have to pee. We're back.
Well, we'll dump your keister. You got to pee this early. You're gone. You ain't Jordan. We'll kick you right to the curb, baby. We'll pick somebody. We'll pick Domofsky up in Indiana.
He's got an even smaller bladder than I do. All right, so here's the deal. While I don't appreciate you borrowing my driving analogy, you've got your own analogies. Not sure why you felt like you had to steal
I had nothing to do with 40. This is I-65 going down to the bayou.
Really? So where do they start if they're leaving Green Bay on their way to New Orleans?
That was my point. They started in Brazil. That's where. And then they had to fly to a small airport with a big
now
runway.
You're changing it. No, you said they were leaving Green Bay and there were detours.
All right, so now anytime anything that was mentioned 9 years ago is now something that's plagiarized? Is that really what we're doing?
No, actually, I was just trying to annoy you, and it worked. So let's move on. I love your stolen analogy. Totally agree with you. The detours, you have to start 2 games with a quarterback that you want to limit how much responsibility he has to carry in the passing game, but you find ways to win. Maybe you find a little shortcut while you're meandering in this detour. Maybe, you're 26 is closed on your way from Madison, but you take Highway C and you circumvent all that construction too. Whatever it might be, your analogy is apt. Now, my question for you is, after beating the Rams, who obviously have their issues, and an Arizona Cardinals team that, again, the Packers did a great job containing Kyler Murray. They lost Maserati Marv to a concussion. But how did they beat the 49ers? How? They're not very good. They're bad. They managed to make the Packers look disciplined when it came to penalties.
Jason.
13 penalties for 100 yards.
This is what is so frustrating about media folk.
Here we go.
Is that, well, no, you can't just look at it. Green Bay played a really good game.
No doubt. I wasn't finished before you got into your journalism speech.
Well, you said, well, how could they beat San Francisco? Because they did. Because San Francisco was undisciplined and let Kyler Murray bust out on a few plays. San Francisco was sloppy and turned the football over, and that's how they got their blank beat.
All right, Arizona.
I just feel like
Arizona has won 2 games this year. They beat the Rams 41-10, and they beat the 49ers 24-23. Their losses, the Bills beat them 34-28, the Lions beat them 20-13, the Washington Commanders beat them 42-14, and yesterday the Packers beat them 34-13. 2 things can be true. The Packers did what they needed to do and played a really good game. They played Matt LaFleur, every coach, complementary football. We got to play a full 4-quarter game. It doesn't get any coach speakier. But you know what? They actually did that. Everybody wants to do that, but they actually did it. Like, with the one exception of Braden Narvison missing a field goal and Jaden Reed fumbling a punt that didn't end up counting, which, by the way, we need to discuss whether he has reached the point where he is too valuable to be putting out there on punt returns to begin with. But the special teams, they got a big return. Obviously, the defense was fantastic, and the offense looked like it's supposed to look. Christian Watson's out there cooking Buda Baker. Romeo Doubs is catching 2 touchdown passes. Love threw it to 10 different receivers. 9 different pass catchers had at least 1 reception. All those things can be true, and the Cardinals can also stink. Like, I don't know. I can tell you this. Next week, when they play the Texans, if they put together the exact same game and win by the exact same score over a team that's 5-1, you will not hear me say the Texans stink. That's all. I don't think that I'm taking a lot away from what they did yesterday by pointing out that it sure looks to me like Arizona, same old Cardinals. They did not play against a bad Cardinals team the way they did on that dreary, snowy, foggy November, December afternoon when Mason Crosby missed a late field goal and Mike McCarthy got fired. They played a bad team, and they kicked that bad team's butt, as opposed to 2018 when they let a bad team beat them.
I kind of am getting sick of that always being the lead.
It's not the lead.
We're in the first segment, and that's what you brought up. And I think maybe part of it is listening to some folks last night, but the bottom line on it is this isn't the 96 Packers team that is everybody has crowned. This is still a young football team that has inconsistencies, and when they go out and play a game like they did yesterday, which was complimentary, which was physical, and smacked people in the mouth, and stuck with the run and got 180 yards running, and Jordan Love moving the ball to 10 guys, that should be exalted. That should be, oh my God, that is great. And instead, there's too much of Arizona stinks. Well, they're just a bad team. And that is the point. All I'm saying from yesterday was, for all of us that felt like this team was going to get better and better and better, and it's October, and they are going to be a Super Bowl contender, yesterday validated that thought for me. It didn't matter that Arizona stinks, and I kept going back to Homer saying, hey, who did Arizona play last week on the road and beat? Everybody's favorite to go to a Super Bowl again. So you can't really have it both ways. I just don't think so. Arizona played super sloppy. The officials sucked yesterday. It was almost unwatchable again. Stop throwing 38 flags. I can't. It's just whatever. But the bottom line is Green Bay stuck to their plan, executed it. The defense, you're seeing what their vision is. It's coming to fruition. Jordan Love is back to being Jordan Love. And the O-line is blocking. So I don't know why it always has to be, because Arizona stinks. Well, but if it happens this week, it's different. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. There's 7 days. We'll get there. But that narrative of, Arizona stinks. Oh, Tennessee's god-awful. Oh, every time they win, it can't just be, that team stinks. And I feel like sometimes that's the way you go. That's all.
Packers have won 4 games this season. They've beaten the Colts, the Titans, the Rams, and the Cardinals.
Yeah. 4-2, baby. 4-2.
And
Jason, have they played
tough to win in the NFL?
Jason, what you're leaving out there is their $250 million quarterback was unavailable for 2, came back after almost being a season-ending injury. Right? Their starting defensive back, their depoy, not available for some of those games. And I guess going back to the analogy that I stole or plagiarized from you is I just feel like now we've gotten our footing, and our car is loaded, locked, and ready to go down to this long trip. We're finally where we want to be after 5-6 weeks of a season. And I think that's a good thing.
Going back to your plagiarized analogy, this was an easier stretch of road. There weren't any lane closures. It was a straight line. It wasn't...
Yeah, okay, I want you to finish, but what you're saying there's no lane closures. What do you think a starting quarterback missing 2 weeks
this game. Please stop painting me. First of all, if you listen to the Open, I talked about all the good positive things. Because we'll go back and listen to which editions it was. Secondly, all I'm trying to say is that this is not the kind of win that I think is enough to say, okay, they're New Orleans bound. They're on their way. This was an easy stretch of road. If they win next Sunday against a good Texans team that is sitting at 5-1, then we can change the conversation for me. But I think Arizona stinks. And knowing some people who work for the Cardinals, I think they know their team stinks. That's all. That is all. It doesn't take away from what they did. Read the State Journal. I know you read the story with Jason Eck as the first 2 words of the story.
Really good.
And
really
then,
good article.
Not only that, but then after that story runs, they put Tucker Kraft in the position he played, playing 9-man football in Timberlake, South Dakota, and have him get a quarterback sneak. So it was a good day. It was a great performance and a great example of complementary football. All those things can be true, and the Cardinals cannot be very good. Just like, look, if they had stormed back the way the Packers did against the Vikings, maybe I wouldn't even say that. Well, Kyler got loose, and boy, did you see what he did. No, they did a great job on him. But they lose Maserati Marv. They're playing from behind. Connor had, 7 carries? Yeah, tell me how great James Conner is in a game that he gets to touch the football. Like, did you watch their offense? Like, all they did was check down. They had nothing going for them. And the Packers defense surely had something to do with that. I don't think this is as big of a downgrade on what they did yesterday as you're painting it to be. But we do have to be honest. The Arizona Cardinals played like crap. And maybe next week they won't, but they weren't a very good football team yesterday. Their quarterback wasn't good. Their coaching wasn't very good. They were bad. Period. And that made it an easier stretch of road from Manitowoc to Kohler. And now they're going to run into all that construction outside of Milwaukee when they play the Texans. And if they get through that without any delays, and now they're on to Chicago, and then they can go, I don't know where you're picking up 65, St. Louis. When they get there, I don't know, you're the one who drives all around the country. I don't leave my basement.
Effingham. Get to Effingham.
I wish I was in Effingham.
Farmers City, maybe, down in Bloomington, outside of Bloomington?
America needs farmers. My point is that I think that they played the type of game, as you said at the very beginning before we got into this debate, that they needed to play against an inferior opponent.
Yes.
Just like this is what you're supposed to do against a team that's not very good. And that's what they did. That's what they did. The Cardinals are not a playoff team.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying they are a playoff team, but I think the only thing that bothers me is that that narrative takes away from maybe the fact Connor only got 7 carries because they couldn't get anything going on the ground and they fell behind. Or maybe they didn't allow them to get the run game going. Or maybe Green Bay's defense is really good. Can you account? And that's where I guess you and I are going to differ on this.
I feel like I am being held responsible for the callers that were complaining last night.
Well, I know you always feel victim. I don't want to get into that.
I'm not saying I'm a victim. I feel like your irritation with them is rubbing off on me because I'm not anywhere close to what they were whining about.
Jason, I just feel like yesterday's game was so good. It doesn't need to always we always want to provide context. I'm not saying Arizona's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
I'm trying to
But I'm also trying to tell you Arizona just beat the supposed best team in the NFC not 1 week earlier on the road with this exact team. Now, Maserati Marv got hurt. That happens in football. I didn't tell him to have 14 penalties. I didn't tell him to turn it over 3 times. Green Bay forced him to do that. And that's where you and I are different on this.
I know you'd like to use Kenny Clark's recovery for your argument for you should have.
You won Steinhoffel's. Once he caught that ball down the sideline, I knew you won.
Even Matt LaFleur, when he was talking to the team, was bragging about the punch-outs that Carl Brooks and Evan Williams had, and then said, and Kenny Clark had a recovery too. Because he fell on a fumbled snap. Again, we can say the reality about the Cardinals and also praise the effort. And I would like to get to how this team did what. Look, whatever you feel about Romeo Doubs today, whatever you feel, whether you want more answers, you couldn't give a you-know-what less, whatever it might be, I think you have to feel really good about the character of this team. Because I do think that there are teams where if he had done what he had done on those teams, there would have been a lot less wrapping their arms around him. I think that the fact that they treated him the way they did, and you saw it from Christian Watson, and you saw it from Jaden Reed, and you saw it from Bo Melton, and you saw it from Jordan Love, will allow this team to move past that, even if, as Christian Watson said himself, it's going to be a little weird for a while. I thought they did a great job of making sure that they made sure it moved past all the stuff of the last 10 days. Because, again, I don't know how much Romeo has done to make you feel like all that stuff is water under the bridge. I mean, Domofsky having to ask him if he was actually happy post-game. If you saw that clip, he wasn't until Rob got him to smile. And never thought I'd be saying that Rob got someone to smile.
Nice job, Rob.
I know I smile every time I look at my Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin front room window.
Get the look that you want for your home with customizable windows and doors from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. The durability of materials gets tested They open and close the doors, the latches, the shades. They do it thousands, tens of thousands of times to ensure that they last for years to come. Pella offers custom colors and innovative features like shades between the glass. And right now you get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends October 31st. Get started today at PellaWI.com.
Our positives, our negatives, and your positives and negatives. Although I'm eager to hear Tausch's negatives because I was so negative on my early opinions of this game.
Tennessee stinks.
Yep. Can't wait for your negatives,
Anybody
buddy.
can roll their helmet. Anybody can roll their helmet out and win that game.
That's definitely what I said. That's a direct quote.
I promise you this. I ain't stealing that quote.
Whoa, Nelly!
That I can guarantee you.
No, I think you probably are. I don't think you're the first one to say roll your helmets out there. More next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Sweetest Day is coming up, and ESPN Milwaukee wants to make sure you're equipped to make someone special in your life extra happy with the Welke Sweetest Day giveaway. From now through October 17th, head to WelkeSweetestDay.com to register for your chance to win a Sweetest Day prize pack, a bouquet of flowers from Welke's Milwaukee Florist, a $100 Pfister gift card, and a one-night stay at the Pfister. All of that could be yours to share with the sweetest one. For full contest details, that's WelkeSweetestDay.com.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields, and I have great news. Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha has the Volvo you want in stock and ready to drive home today.
Come see our full lineup of Volvo SUVs, the XC90, XC60, and XC40.
So stop by Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha and take a test drive.
Plus, you'll be part of Fields Amenities program with complimentary loaners, car washes, and gourmet coffee service. Integrity and customer satisfaction will always be the force that drives our business. At Fields Volvo Cars Waukesha, go to VolvoCarsWaukesha.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats. Now through Wednesday, save on 7 to 15 ounce selected varieties Rana pasta or sauce, $3.99. 64 ounce selected varieties Sunny Delight, 2 for $3. 64 ounce or 8-pack selected varieties Juicy Juice, 2 for $6. 6 to 12 count selected varieties Ice Mountain Spring Water, 2 for $5.
I am starving.
Oh no, never walk into a Century when you're hungry.
Unless it's free sample day. Ooh, pizza, yes. I'd love to try that one.
My husband thinks he can make a meal out of grocery store samples.
Need to wash this down. I think I see someone handing out samples in the liquor department.
Geez, can we focus on our list?
What's this?
It says you can win 2 tickets to Green Bay's home game against San Francisco November 24th.
Or autographed footballs, or a 4-pack of Green Bay Hall of Fame tickets.
You have to enter through Century's Facebook or Instagram.
I'll be entering this on my phone in the deli next to that cheese sample station.
I'm shopping at Century alone next time.
Enter by November 6th.
I'm Rick.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Monica.
We're hoping to meet you in Kenosha where I-94 meets Highway 50.
On the southwest corner, you'll see a brand new building.
And it's huge.
Kessler's Diamonds is known throughout the Midwest for our amazing selection of engagement rings.
The sparkle of our diamonds.
Our lifetime trade-up policy on natural diamond stud earrings.
The construction of our diamond tennis bracelets.
Our incredibly customer-friendly pricing.
And the strongest jewelry warranty in the entire world.
She's not making that up. We're famous for our warranty.
Read it to them, Rick.
If you bought it at Kessler's, it's guaranteed. It's just that simple. Even if you lose a diamond, including the center stone, we'll replace it. All maintenance is free forever. Yes, it really is that miraculous.
Kessler's is 100% employee-owned.
Walk through our doors and you'll be greeted by one of the owners.
And we can do whatever it takes to make you happy.
Kessler's Diamonds is at the southwest corner of I-94 and Highway 50 in Kenosha. Come see us.
The 2024-25 Buck season promises electrifying performances, unforgettable plays, and even more historic moments. Be part of it by securing your seats now at bucks.com/full. Buck season ticket members get the best pricing, premier ticket locations, and exclusive benefits. Secure your season membership and lock in your seats for what's sure to be an unforgettable 2024-25 season at Fiserv Forum. This era of Bucks basketball is something special. Get your tickets now at bucks.com/full.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
Four seven seven zero 3776. Some of you don't need the number because I know you're already on hold there. But again, 844-770-3776. We'll get to your positives and your negatives ASAP. But first, we need ours. Tausch, let's start with your long list of negatives.
The officiating. Too many flags made it almost. What are you rolling your eyes at?
You can't find one negative about the Packers' performance.
Oh no, there's negatives about the Packers too. But you asked me for my big negative. That's what was too good.
The Packers, they're peaking too early. That's the negative.
The officiating.
So Jesse, you're on the same boat as Jason. You think it's Arizona stinks and it's not that
big
a deal.
You got your camera fixed.
Yeah, we got it back. It miraculously reappeared. So
who had stolen it? Pablo?
I don't want to say it was Alex Gravatt, but he seemed to come in here awful quick with it once we acknowledged that the camera was missing. So he seems to be the culprit.
So what was your negative about the Packers' performance instead of the officiating, Tausch?
Well, I think you could look at it, and the problem I have with saying that there's no sacks and the pressure wasn't great is I think the game plan was to corral, keep Kyler in that pocket, don't let him get outside the pocket and make plays, and they did that very well. There's low-hanging fruit of Narvi. You just don't trust him. And I think for a complementary game as well as it was played yesterday, being able to stick with the run, Jordan being as efficient with the football as he was, and then the defense creating turnovers, everything fit into what you're looking for. But when you do play better teams, and when those teams execute at a higher level, games aren't going to be 34-13. It's going to be 27-24. It's going to be in that realm. And you can't have it where you just don't trust your kicker. And the fact that even before Narvi went out to kick, Moose Johnston is sitting there saying how god-awful he was in warm-ups. That actually made me feel worse. Even though he made a couple kicks, I'm thinking he can't make kicks in warm-ups. It's not going to get easier when you have people coming at you trying to block it. So the field goal kicking is still a complete and utter just throw it, dice roll. I don't have any clue what's going to happen. Neither do they. And in a league where parity and close games are the norm, those things matter, and right now Green Bay doesn't feel good about where they're at with the kicking game at all.
So my negative, which was wiped out by a penalty, was the fact, or offsetting penalties, I should say, and a little bit of a suspect call, I thought, that wiped that out for the Cardinals. But I want Jayden Reed off punt returns yesterday. Not because of the fumble, but because he got walloped on that return. And I understand that he is an electrifying player, but he is wide receiver one. He is. He was targeted the most yesterday. He had the most receptions. I understand they didn't go for as many yards as previous games. But I remember having this conversation about, even though he was, I guess, number 1A or 2 at the time, but I remember Randall Cobb becoming too valuable to put on punt returns. And I think Jayden Reed is there. And I think he needs to. Now, the problem is they're playing Keyshawn Nixon a hell of a lot, too. I mean, he's playing outside corner now. Like, clearly Jeff Hafley loves him some Keyshawn Nixon. And with good reason. He's playing extremely well. But, that they get Jair back, and Keyshawn Nixon and Evan Williams and Javon Bullard kept both Carrington Valentine and Eric Stokes on the bench. I think Eric Stokes played one series, maybe two, at some point.
Yeah, I thought I looked at the snap count since Domofsky's back on Twitter. I think he played 14 snaps yesterday.
Yeah.
Is what I think.
And Carrington Valentine, 0.
Maybe it was Valentine had one. So I understand your point, and this is always an age-old discussion. But how do you rectify? You want to be better on special teams. You want to showcase that you're putting emphasis on it, and you want to see results. But then you're going to say, well, it's not important enough to put him out there.
Well, I will say, I would counter
saying?
that with they use Xavier McKinney on kickoff coverage, right? Because they want to make sure that and it's not the sprinting down at 1,000,000 miles an hour anymore. So it's more like a defensive play. So they are using.
I'd rather have Xavier McKinney on kickoff cover or I'd rather see if something happened to Xavier McKinney on kickoff cover, I would be more irritated and upset saying, what the hell is he out there for, than if Jaden Reed got hurt as a punt returner, because punt return, the game can swing. You don't know how to – I'm watching Wisconsin struggle trying to find a punt returner. It'll be just being able to field the ball. Here, Jaden Reed, obviously he fumbled one yesterday. He is someone that is a playmaker on that side of it, and it's much more of a vital spot than having someone as an R4 on kick cover. So that's where I think if you're going to sit here and then at the end of the season chastise Rich Bisaccia and the Packers when old boy from the Dallas Morning News puts out that we're 29th in special teams, you can't really have it both ways. I guess that's my point.
Well, all I'm saying is that when guys are coming full speed on a punt cover and they're walloping your number one receiver, I have less concern about Xavier McKinney engaging as one of the wing players on the kickoff coverage with a guy. He's not getting walloped that way. Now, yes, is there risk with that? But again, I'm more concerned about, and the problem is, you're right. They don't have a clear-cut other option other than Keyshawn Nixon, who they're now playing a ton to. I get it.
Right.
But it's not like they have an old-school Mike Pryor, an old safety to just go back there and fair catch it and let the offense cook wherever they are.
Is he available?
I don't know what he's up to these days. Their running backs, I don't think that Marshawn Lloyd, once he's healthy, has a lot of punt return experience. I know Emmanuel Wilson doesn't, so they have limited options. I don't want to see a guy that takes enough punishment because of the other ways they get him the ball on offense being out there on special teams. All right, so what's your biggest positive before we get to calls?
Jordan Love. Jordan Love yesterday was kind of back. It just the way he moved out of the pocket, the way he took what the defense gave him. I know you could say the touchdown to Dobbs when he threw it off his back foot was ill-advised. Nothing like last week where he threw into triple coverage. This was one-on-one. He made a throw and it ended up working out great. But he was in control and in command, and it just felt like this is the Jordan Love we saw at the back end of last season, and it's only going to get better and better. I thought Jordan's command of how he handled his business yesterday was top-notch.
I want to get more into the teammate aspect, which was a big, big positive for me, seeing Reed and Watson and their reaction to Romeo's first touchdown. But how about Christian Watson? Again, not quite putting him on the cover of Madden just yet. But not only is he an outstanding teammate, but they see something in the Cardinals' coverage, which was a very clear weakness to them. And Matt LaFleur, Jordan Love, and Christian Watson huddle up on the sideline, bring a play that is not in the week's game plan out of a prior game plan, run him directly at a 6-time Pro Bowler and 3-time All-Pro safety, who we wanted on this team, by the way, when the Packers were going
2
through
years ago.
struggles at the safety position. By the way, I saw Darnell Savage give up a touchdown in London against the Bears yesterday morning as well. But they go conjure up this play from an old game plan, and Christian Watson says after the game, not to be cocky, but as soon as we broke the huddle, I knew it was a touchdown. And that's exactly what happened. That is an example of what he does for this offense. I know he only had 3 catches. Had a huge 4th down catch, too. All I say to him is stay healthy. Stay healthy, man. You know, whatever it takes. You know,
I don't know. There's somebody on this show that said he doesn't make that big a difference.
He's no Alan Lazard.
Not that big a deal. If he's not healthy and available, no big deal. Just put somebody else in there. I don't know who that was.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't have won yesterday without him out there.
Well, they did play a bad team. All right, so we want to get to your positives and your negatives. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Your positives, your negatives. Let's go to the phones, 844-770-3776. If you're on hold, stay there. If you're thinking about calling in, now's the time to call. More next. It's Wilde Tausch.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Okay, close your mouth and take a deep breath in through your nose. So the way it's supposed to be is that you should be able to breathe easily. You shouldn't feel constrained. What it should feel like is air briskly flowing freely through both nasal passages, day and night. And if not, there's a problem. And it's a don't know what your problem really was until you got it fixed kind of problem. You're living with it. I mean, you're tired a lot. It might give you headaches and sinus pressure, but you're living with it. Yeah, you sound like almost every patient we help until we get their problem fixed. And then you hear them saying, why would I put up with that? Advent will get you breathing freely again with simple in-office solutions like turbinate reduction along with balloon sinuplasty that really can change your life.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnatthebog.com.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it. I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for $8.95? Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds. $8.95 for a 2-carat pair of diamond studs. Oh, baby! Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield and in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Some jewelers are charging nearly $5,000 for a lab-grown diamond. Not Robert Hack. Your visit will be worth it. And she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. But remember, before you do anything, as I did, RobertHackDiamonds.com and visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
It's the regular season finale on Friday night. The Crusaders take on Waukesha South.
4th and 2, Tobias Lopez takes the handoff, cuts through the middle. Not only the first down, he's into the end zone for his 3rd touchdown of the night.
Crusaders football is presented by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, R&R Insurance, Home Sealed Exteriors, and DM Accounting and Consulting Service. Tune into the action Friday night starting at 6:30 on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, or at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Olsen here from our friends at Best Electric Service.
An A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
The Island Showroom's fall lineup is packed with excitement. On Halloween, don't miss Lisa McClowry's acclaimed portrayal of the goddess of pop in The Beat Goes On, Cher. The rock anthems of Warrant bring down the house November 8th and 9th. And November 15th and 16th, country heartthrob Connor Smith hits the stage. Visit islandresortandcasino.com today to buy your Island Showroom tickets online or call 877-ISL-SHOW.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Let's get rolling with the calls. Love to spend all of our show because he won't admit it. That's fine. I do think I paid the price for some nitpicky callers to Green Bay game night. I'm just saying. Just saying. I'm not a victim.
I know that's what.
I'm just saying.
I know that's what you think.
You started the show by pointing it out, man.
Yeah, but then you reiterated the point that I was pointing out.
I did not. What was the one caller that complained about how much time
Phil.
the floor? Like what? There was some bizarre complaint they used it as an example. I didn't say anything close to that.
When you get a call that's very complainy after a win on Green Bay game night, is the person you envision on the other end of the phone Jason?
He photoshops my head onto the caller in his mind.
No. No.
Phil, what was Phil complaining about?
I don't know. I told Chris Larson to chop it because it was unbelievable. He is going off on Quay Walker, and I said, well, if you're going to go off on Quay, yesterday wasn't the day to be mad at Quay because he had a good day.
In Piscataway. Let's get to the phones.
So, yeah.
Let's start with Mike in Texas. Mike, good morning. Welcome to Wilde Tausch.
Good morning. I would say my positive was just seeing them punch the balls out to cause the fumbles.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, did they not get taught that before? Is that something new? I don't know. I don't understand why that was never happening before,
I'll tell you this, before you continue.
Yeah.
The old adage, you get what you emphasize. You also get what you tolerate. I don't think every coach says they want takeaways. We could get Joe Barry up here to explain that we call them takeaways because you got to take the ball. It's not like they just give it to you. Although the one fumble that Kenny recovered, they gave it to him. But I don't think that they emphasized it to the degree that they have started emphasizing the punching. It's like, I don't know if they have a peanut period where they do their Peanut Tillman imitations, but you're right. It was Carl Brooks. Carl Brooks needs a story written about him, and I'm just the guy to do it because he has been a difference maker for them in the last couple weeks. He would have been a good choice, once again, for your Steinhoffel Sleeper of the Week. All right, Mike, continue.
And so my negative is that I'm afraid that the Packers may think that they're better than what they are because the Arizona played so poorly, so sloppy, and, they dominated, but, and so when they played the Texans, who the Texans are, I don't think they're as great as their record is. They're good, but they got destroyed by Minnesota. They squeaked by a couple of wins, so they may just have a little inflated sense of ego that they're better than what they really are, which we don't know yet until they play someone really, really good.
Thanks for the call, Mike. I appreciate you. 844-770-3776.
So just so I just want to make sure I'm keeping track of this right for all of us.
I was so waiting. I just wanted to see how long it would take for you to check.
And I know you're not a Packer fan, but I just want to make sure I'm getting this right. So that when we do these shows after games, I make sure my frame of mind is right. When Green Bay loses, it's because the team they're playing is really good or Green Bay stinks. But when Green Bay wins, it's because the team they play stinks.
No,
that's how this goes.
That's not it.
That's kind of how I feel like.
So far this
that's
year,
how I feel like we're viewing
goes.
this.
No.
Okay. No, that's fair. I just want to know. I want to know my perspective points of where to start because I had the car on the road, ready to go, and there's all this stuff. But it sounds as if that doesn't even matter, right? Because everything's already kind of foregone.
No, your analogy is Your analogy is still a very good one. I am just saying that this stretch of road was easier than, and quite frankly, easier than I thought it was going to be. I didn't realize that the 49ers were without their kicker last week. I missed that part of the story. That's a big factor in how the Arizona Cardinals beat them, apparently. Again, I didn't go back and watch that game. I had a few other things that I was focused on. But
like what?
Well, I wanted,
what stuff?
I took a lot of time on that Tucker Kraft story. So I appreciate you reading. And Jason Eck, wherever you are, go Vandals, and thank you for your help with that.
Tough one Saturday night, I saw.
Yeah,
national
Jason's
TV.
struggling. It's not.
Well, they lost
down to their third quarterback.
Correct. Yes, indeed they are.
And now Fleck can't lose. Your prediction's going out the window.
Well, and plus, I mean, Montana State's really good, so it doesn't matter.
If
they played Cal Poly or something, that'd be different.
If they'd have played UCLA or USC, then they would have won because they're bad, because they must be if Minnesota beat them. All right, let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Steve in Middleton. Steve, good morning. Welcome to Wilde and Tausch, or Winey and Tausch, as it were.
Good morning, boys. My good is obviously Love, but I think the defensive scheme is really good, and they put they didn't get sacks yesterday, but I think they put a lot of pressure on, and Rashawn Gary, I know he didn't get any sacks, but there was a number of times he had Murray on the run, throwing the ball out of bounds or in the dirt. So I think that's the best part of the game. The worst, and I'm going to take some incoming for this, but I tell you, I had to stop listening to that post-game show before the first hour was up. I don't know if these people are miserable or don't know football. Obviously, they never saw the 70s and 80s. But, my God, I know there's things wrong you can point out, but what happens when we lose? I hope these people lived in one-story houses because they'd be jumping out the window. My God, come on, people, enjoy at least when you have a big victory. You can nitpick in that, but man, I mean, some of these Tausch and Homer had to correct them on the air. Then they'd make another point that was just as bad. It was crazy.
You're in trouble when Homer's correcting you on the air.
That's Green Bay game night after every Packers game this year on ESPN Wisconsin.
You know what I didn't like, by the way? If you're watching on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, Steve says all these people that are whining and complaining, and then Jesse puts up the graphic with all of our faces. That's not who he was referring to. He was referring to callers. But nevertheless, Steve, so how do you put in perspective what the Cardinals are versus what the Packers did yesterday versus what you want them to do against the Houston Texans 6 days from now? All I'm trying to say is that they did exactly what you want them to do, and they deserve to be praised for that. They beat a team that I don't think is very good, and I was wrong to think they were based on what they did against the 49ers. Help me understand where you're coming from on that.
I don't think they're that good a team, but I don't think they're one of the 5 or 6 worst. But my thing is, people just expect every game to be perfect, and obviously, the one thing yesterday was we gave up a lot of passes over the middle, like for 10, 12 yards. They're going to have to clean that up somehow. Somebody's going to have to
but
take care of that problem.
And you're right. They've got to, but there's got to be some spots where an offense can operate. And Trey McBride's a really good tight end. So, I thought their defensive effort was really good. I love the trajectory of their defense. They have, and thanks for the call, Steve. We appreciate you. They have 17 takeaways in 6 games. They had 18 takeaways in 17 games a year ago. No
Well, not so
interceptions yesterday? No problem. We'll punch the ball out, and we'll have 3 takeaways. So, look, there is no one is suggesting that you shouldn't be optimistic about where this team is headed. This felt like a game that got them some momentum going forward, where you can see them beating the Texans at home, going to Jacksonville and winning, and being on a 4-game winning streak. That's what I can see them being. I can see them sitting at 6-2 through 8 games. And then what do they have after that? Then they have the Lions, right? That's when they would play the Lions, who just lost Aiden Hutchinson for the year. And then they have their bye week. So they are in a position where they can be 6-2 going into the Lions game at home. And who knows? So they have gotten themselves very much on the road, if not to New Orleans, at least to the Wisconsin-Illinois border on their way to New Orleans. I just think they drove a pretty easy stretch of road yesterday, easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought there was going to be more traffic, and there wasn't. 844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We'll get some more of your calls after Tausch tells us about Fortria, where you can make some extra money so you don't have to drive all the way to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. You can fly a private jet if you want.
That's what it sounds like Jason's got. It's been just smooth sailing all the way. Jump in that private jet. Get those tickets, whatever it might be. Fortria Clinical Trials has a option for you to pick up a little extra cash. Healthy, overweight adults, ages 18 to 65, BMI of 30 to 40, study 3 stays, totaling 7 nights with 12 follow-ups, and $14,148 in your pocket for your time and participation. Another $350 per qualified referral. Another study, healthy adults 18 to 60. Body mass index 18 to 32. 1 stay, 14 nights, 11 follow-ups, $13,006 for your time and participation. Head over to FortriaClinicalTrials.com. That's Fortria, Fortrea, clinicaltrials.com.
More of your calls, 844-770-3776. I also want to get to Tausch's thoughts on the officiating, which was maybe a weak negative, but I do think it's worth exploring further. Still trying to figure out I understand he touched his head, but the Chris Barnes roughing the passer thing on the sideline, that one I didn't get. There were some other calls I didn't get as well. We didn't come to watch the guys in the black and white stripes. We'll talk about that too. But more of your calls next. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and sponsored by American Family Insurance. After every single green and gold game,
You can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
there's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the Deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
Hauntingly good deals await you at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event. There will be no tricks, only treats.
Trick or treat!
On the price you'll get on your next new or pre-owned vehicle. Prices will be slashed at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis Auto Group dealership. America's best-selling cars, trucks, and SUVs from both Buick and GMC. All marked down with October Spooktacular Savings discounts and incentives, including their entire inventory of pre-owned vehicles. Choose from over 1,500 on lot or online. There'll be dozens of spooktacular service specials and everything from brakes, tires to oil changes. Plus, with any test drive in October, you'll be entered to win free gas for a year, with drawings held every Friday throughout the month at your nearby Milwaukee Metro Region Kunis dealerships in both Greenfield and Oak Creek. Halloween savings aren't just slashed, they're chainsawed at the Kunis Auto Group's October Spooktacular Savings Event going on now. For additional event info, go to shopkunis.com.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Mukwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
The first two preseason games have seen 0 wins for the Bucks, but as we all know, preseason isn't about wins and losses. And with the regular season fast approaching next week, don't expect Doc Rivers to be holding his stars back at all for longevity's sake.
No, you are who you are, and that's what makes him great. That's what makes all these players great. Is they just play. I mean, those guys don't think about it because that's how they play.
The Bucks take on the Chicago Bulls tonight in preseason action at Fiserv Forum. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com. Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Look at all those. You know what I feel like right now? I feel like Tausch at Kohler, looking at all those beautiful toilets on the wall.
Yeah.
I saw our
old
buddy
ones,
Doug.
new ones.
Saw our buddy Doug from Kohler Services yesterday at the Tundra Trio. Things are going great for them, and we love having them as a partner. But your giant wall of toilets is what our list of callers looks like. Jesse, are we almost full?
We are almost full, yes.
Yeah, I also let Doug know that you would like to see Kohler Services expand to Italy and take care of the Coliseum bathroom issues that you encountered.
I feel like this is the room where the negative calls are calling into on Green Bay game night, and then the Kohler showroom is where the positive calls were coming from.
What's with the one guy holding the spoon? And how does that work exactly?
I thought we've been over that. Yeah,
I don't remember.
Think you want to know.
You're probably
in the old
right.
days, that's how they cleaned.
Be that as I thought they just used their hand. All right, 844-770-3776. Let's get to one call here, and then we will go all calls all the time during the 10 o'clock hour. Let's get to Gunnar in Butler, who has waited for a long time, and then we'll get to the 10 o'clock hour calls. Gunnar, thanks for holding on, buddy. What do you got for us?
Gentlemen, thank you. Long-time listener. Love you guys, man. I love it when you spar. It cracks me up. But
I love you guys.
Glad somebody does.
I love you guys. You're great. It's a hoot. But the one thing I saw, obviously the good young defensive backfield playing, but I think we're seeing Edgerrin Cooper and what he can bring to the team. He moves really well. He's physical. I think his football IQ should go nothing but up, keep playing. But, boy, I see a guy that maybe raised Quay's game a little bit, but, boy, we would have two amazing linebackers, the way they can move and the way they can hit. So very excited to see him try to get more snaps all the time. McDuffie's played well, but boy, I tell you, I see a lot of good stuff in that kid. Man, he can fly. That's a great stuff, and Jordan played well. We held serve. We played a team that's not as good as us, and we imposed our will on them, and that's what you do at home. I think Mother Nature helped. I think Mother Nature helped a ton. The containment on Murray was amazing. We're going to have our hands full with CJ next week, and hopefully that game plan stays in tune and not let him go wild. But, yeah, we got our work cut out. And shutting Connor and Kyler down, you shut them down. Maserati went down, and that was it. And the negative was not negative, but it was fun to watch. Dobbs, wow, what a nice player, and the adjustment he made on that touchdown. But, boy, it was weird. I saw everybody running around, hooting and hollering, high-fiving, and if you showed him, it looked like he didn't even catch a touchdown pass. It was like he had this stoic, kind of hard-ass look, and I'm thinking, boy, you're the black sheep, came back in, everybody's hooting and hollering, and, boy, I didn't see a whole lot of positive reaction from him. Do you guys have any feelings about that? Take a look at it if you haven't looked. It's kind of funny.
I have a bunch of feelings. Chief among them, great call, Gunner. You should call more often. We appreciate you for that, all right? So that was really good. First of all, to his first point, Tausch, he's right about Edgerrin Cooper. He is fast, and he hits really hard.
They both need to be on the field much more. I didn't look at the snap count for Coop, but
I can get that
he needs
for
to
you.
be out there more. He continues to get better, and I think when Evan Williams is out there, good things happen. You're going to see more of him too. I know Bullard played almost every snap, so the young players are coming, man. And
young man's game.
It's looking like my boy Gutenator knocked it out the park again. There's so much depth on that defensive side of the football. I said outside of X, if something happens where you have an injury, you feel really good that your depth is built to where it needs to be on the defensive side of the ball.
So Edgerrin Cooper played the same number of snaps as Evan Williams, 66% of the snaps, 38 snaps apiece. Javon Bullard played 54 out of 58.
Crank it up. Crank it up. I think they need more.
Meanwhile, Lucas Van Ness playing less than Carl Brooks, less than Kingsley Enagbare. I'm not sure
That's not ideal.
I'm not sure what's going on with
up.
Lucas there.
Yeah. By the way, Carl Brooks has been star-spangled awesome.
Yeah, here's what I would say, Tausch, and this is what you want on an NFL football team. Best players play. Doesn't matter if you're first-round pick or not.
Yep.
Right?
Keyshawn
Nixon is playing outside instead of Eric Stokes, who's in a contract year. Eric Stokes, former first-round pick.
Hey, Jason, this is when you hear coaches and general managers talk about creating a culture of competition where you need to prove it day after day. A lot of it is just chatter. This group is doing it, and it's doing it not only on this side of the ball. Look at it from the wide receiver spot. Look at it from the O-line spot. Jordan Morgan was in there eating yesterday. It wasn't just, Sean Ryan's been playing good. Jordan Morgan still got in there before the injury. So you want to create this because it keeps everybody on edge, making sure you're pushing yourself. Defensively, it's definitely the case.
You know what happens then? You got a lot of guys on the sideline saying, pour me in, coach.
Hey, you do? Tito's Handmade Vodka on game day? Well, if you want to do it, you better be working hard, and you better pour yourself in, coach, from a seat in the stands to the best seat on the couch. You root for your favorite team with your favorite team spirit. Stack a spicy bloody, salt the rim of a Tito-rito, or take home the win with a Tito's in whatever your heart desires. You're calling the game. You change up your roster or wash that lucky jersey as long as you make Tito's your first-round bottle pick. Whose house? Tito's house. Find cocktail recipes for every fan at Tito'sVodka.com. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
All right, I know we're asking a lot of you to stay on hold as long as you are. The good news is it's not the old days where you were paying per minute for long-distance calls like when I was in high school or college. So if you can stay there, stay there. I promise we will get to all of you. We will get to all your calls. We'll get to texts. I do want to have a conversation about what Gunnar brought up in terms of Romeo Doubs and his affect. But I love the fact that his teammates were doing everything they could to lift him up. I thought that was a really cool example of what it means to be a teammate. We'll do that and more when we kick off the 10 o'clock hour in 2 minutes. It's Wilde and Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 10/31/2024.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Olsen here for my friends at Best Electric Service, an A-plus Better Business Bureau, family-owned and operated, who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, installing your new Briggs & Stratton generator, or electric vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality services at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Save big money on your roofing project now at Menards. We have an unbeatable selection of Atlas architectural shingles. Castlebrook, Briarwood, and Pinnacle all feature a limited lifetime warranty and up to 130 miles per hour wind warranty. Choose from 20 styles in stock, ready to take home today. Stop in to shop our wide selection of roofing products or visit Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards. Hey, this is Homer. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Straight to the phones we go. 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Let's go up to Stevens Point. How do you get there? What do I take, 39?
39 north.
10?
Yeah,
Can I take 10?
You probably are looking 29.
29 to 10?
29 to probably, no, then you'd have to get off on 39 and then get to 10.
But where are we in the Packers season from Madison to Stevens Point?
We're about Weston.
Portage. Let's say Portage.
Let's go to Joe in Stevens Point because he's already there. Joe, good morning. How you doing? What do you got for us?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you? Love the show.
Thank you.
I agree with Tausch, and I agree with you.
Amen.
Packers fans can't have it both ways. They can't have it both ways. If you lose, it's not because they were just a better team. Maybe you played bad football. If they win, it's not because they were necessarily a terrible team, although the Arizona Cardinals aren't exactly world beaters. I think they did their jobs on Sunday. That's what I think. They did their jobs. They held the line. It is what it is. Second point, I think somebody had a conversation with Romeo Doubs And they had a real come-to-Jesus moment with him. Hey, this is Green Bay. They don't do ego very well. We were good before you. We'll be good after you. If you want to stay here and you want to get paid, do your job. Don't talk.
All right, Joe. Now that one, I love your forcefulness. I definitely think I know he had a meeting with LaFleur. That's for sure. And I am sure that some version of that was said to him. Here's what I'm not sure about. Because he parroted some of those lines that LaFleur had used, right? It's about the team. It's not about individuals, et cetera, et cetera. The only thing, and I'm curious what you read into as a fan, Joe, what you saw from his behavior. I thought it would be a weight off of his shoulders. And if not even the first one, but maybe the second one, there would have been this burst of joy. And it wasn't there. And I find myself wondering if inside, whatever it is, because he claims it had nothing to do with his role. But then when you ask him, well, what were you upset about, and how do you feel about your role, then he no comments it, including about, well, how do you feel about your role? So there's a lot to it. But the fact that he did not seem happy, how do you view that as a fan? Because that, to me, is the one part of the unsolved mystery for me.
I think, here's the thing. I think as a fan, I loved his production. He did his job very efficiently and very well yesterday. He was great. I think two things can be true at the same time. I think he's licking his wounds because he realized he made a mistake.
Uh-huh.
And I think he's got to have a little, how should I say, like rededicate himself or find himself with football. Like he got out over his skis kind of deal, so he reeled himself back in not to get out over his skis again. That's where I see it. I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I knew him better, but I don't. And I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. I will just say this, and thanks for the call, Joe. Great call. Tausch, you've been a teammate. You've been a really good teammate. I thought that was the best thing about the Romeo Dobbs saga was how everyone else behaved. I mean, you got Jaden Reed shouting, 8-7 is back! And you got them all giving like Jordan talking about the group hug. Again, I do think that there are some unresolved issues, but they push that all aside on game day. And do I think that Jordan Love would still like to talk to Romeo and say, hey, man, next time you're feeling this way, please come and talk to me about it? I do. I do think that Jordan wants to have that conversation. Maybe he's already had it now. But whatever there are still lingering questions, which I do think there are in that locker room, I think they did a masterful job of putting him aside and celebrating the guy, even if he, Tausch, didn't feel like celebrating.
Yeah, I did not steal your road analogy, but I did steal your Christian Watson observations, because how he handled himself last week, you have to kind of just take a look at this from a big bird's eye, 10,000 feet view. Christian Watson and Dobbs are going to be competing to see who's going to get a big fat contract. They're not going to pay both guys. And Christian Watson's been hurt. He could easily just say, oh, this is what an opportunity. I'm pouncing. We're going to roll. He has been a model teammate. He's battled through injuries, got back quicker than we all thought. And he's able to go out and play that way and be that supportive, front-facing teammate that someone needed to be last week. He was that guy. Mm-hmm. My respect level, I've always loved Christian Watson as a player. The Randy Moss comps and the first season of the rookie year, his talent is there, outrunning people. All that's great. He showed me a lot last week as far as being a great teammate and being selfless. I like Christian Watson even more than I did, and I put him on the cover of Madden. That tells you where I'm at with that.
Yeah. Let's keep going with the calls. 844-770-3776. 844-770-3776. Let's go to Eric in Green Bay. Eric, good morning. How are you, buddy?
Morning. How are you guys doing?
Outstanding.
Super.
Absolutely. So we'll go into the positives right away. I know you guys can touch base on it quickly, but the youth movement was in full effect on defense. Cooper just seems like he flies around. Second straight week with Evan Williams making a big play, and then Bullard doing some good things in coverage. Curious, Tausch, as what you thought with Jordan Morgan stepping in and how he did. Obviously, you can evaluate that a little bit better, and I know we'll get more on tackle talk.
Oh, yeah, thanks for the call, Eric.
Well, I don't think he's done. I think
he
was ceding his time to you to answer his question.
Well, yeah, and Eric, you have anything else? Because you know how I like to roll. Go ahead, Eric. You got anything else, or is that?
Well, did you write down the first question on your board so you remember that one?
Yeah, I just wrote it down.
Jordan Morgan. Yeah, Jordan Morgan.
Yeah,
Jordan Morgan.
Yeah, I just wrote it down.
I can quickly go into negatives. It is positives and negatives. Again, the low hanging fruit would be Narveson. And if you really look at it, right, we played 6 games. He's officially missed kicks in 4 of the 5. We got saved by a defensive offside. Otherwise, we would have had missed kicks that counted in 5 out of the 6 games. So then the other question too is I'm curious as to what is the inflection point on when you make a change? And I know a lot of times when you're evaluating players, it's you'd rather get rid of someone, right? Too soon than too late. But right now it seems like this is a matter of not if this is going to cost us a game, it's going to be when this costs us a game. And obviously things become higher stakes as the season progresses. And you would think if you were going to make a change, you'd want to kind of figure out what you have. So I guess the 2 questions, Jordan Morgan, and then what are we doing with kicking or when are we doing it?
And now,
Jordan
Eric,
Morgan,
your call is now over. Thank you for your call.
Thank you, Eric, for the Jordan Morgan component. They love Jordan Morgan.
They do.
He is a physical, really good athlete. I thought he did some really good things. I know they highlighted the one run where he held off his guy at the first level and then went up and absolutely demolished the linebacker. Jacobs cut right off him. It was one of the better runs of the day. I think he's got to just get back into it, but they feel comfortable enough. I think they threw him at left guard when Josh Myers was out and they put Elton Jenkins in at center. He is going to be a player here for a while. He moves well. He just got to get reps. And he'll have some rough terrain as he plays against better and better players, and as the moments get bigger and bigger. But he's going to be a guy here for a while. He's got the skill set to play the position. I think he's in a good spot. As for Narvi, I saw someone tweeted out his kicking percentage is less than Giannis's free throw percentage. That ain't good.
It's an interesting framework.
The inflection point, I was wondering that exact same thing because Homer on our show last night was talking if he misses that kick. Well, he missed one the week before and they didn't cut him. I thought for sure, was it 2 weeks ago where that was, he's gone. Well, they stuck with him.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that just their options are limited. If they had a great option, they would have kicked him out and brought someone else in.
Yeah.
They don't trust him at all. And if someone is available that they trust more, by the way, Greg the Leg Joseph, Yank City 2 last night, and they don't for the Giants, so he's not the guy.
Yeah.
Chad Ryland. It is tricky because
Chad Ryland, who kicked for them yesterday, was the guy that one of the 2 guys they had in for a workout the previous week, and then the Cardinals signed him because their kicker is hurt. Your point about Greg Joseph, he made his first 8 field goal attempts as a Giant. But then when they needed him last night to have a chance to win a football game, he missed twice.
Yank City.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, again, I don't know, but I don't think they have other. I think what's keeping, to Tausch's point, what's keeping the Narv dog employed is that there are no other better options. But his kicking, his accuracy is worse than the guy who he replaced. It is.
Oh, yeah.
Percentage-wise.
No, I would take Anders Carlson looks like a Hall of Fame kicker from what last year compared to what Narvi's doing. That's just so. The question's going to be: does it get to the point where you feel like the trade deadline's early November?
Yep.
You have teams. The Cleveland Browns are going to be wholesale. The Raiders are going to be wholesale. That's where you start looking. Is it going to be worth it to go dabble and say wholesale changes? Is what I.
Oh, okay.
Do you go and get Daniel Carlson? Do you go and look? I don't even know, is York the kicker for the Browns? If they have a guy, do the Panthers have a guy? You're seeing now more teams going to go into full-on Tank City USA. And when you go Tank City USA, what kind of price point are we going to be looking at? Because I do think the Packers will have to look at this and say, what we're doing isn't going to work. Because Goody will just pull his hair out if they get to a point where they're at, like last year, where they're playing San Fran or Detroit or Minnesota, and it comes down to a kick, and it's Narvi that doesn't make it. They're going to say, well, the writing was on the wall all season. You didn't do anything. You can live with it if at least you're trying and you're trying to improve. It's I'm sure a pain point right now, and the Packers will figure out what that needs to happen to feel more secure about that spot.
All right, we'll talk more about this as we roll on. I want to get to more of your calls, 844-770-3776. Tausch, if you're making your drive to New Orleans with this team that's on the road to the Super Bowl, at some point you are stopping at Quick Trip.
Oh, and it is Packers season. Enter today for great prizes all season long, and only with the Quick Rewards Packers Zone from Quick Trip you can win. 2024 Chevy Traverse Z71, Aaron Snowblower, game tickets to the Packers, and more. Everything that we love here on Wilde Tausch. And entering is easy. Use your Quick Rewards when making purchases at Quick Trip. You'll earn a Fan Zone point for every dollar you spend at Quick Trip. Every dollar. Stop in for some Glazers, Nature's Touch milk on a weekend morning trip before a field for your kids, or simply to fill up your tank. And boom, Fan Zone points keep track in your Quick Rewards app in the Fan Zone. So you start using your points in that Packers Zone to get tickets. Do it now through October 31st, and one winner will get 18 tickets to a Packers private suite experience for that November 24th game against San Francisco. Start spending today for all of those Packers Zone prizes. Download the Quick Rewards app in your app store and visit quicktrip.com/fanzone for full details. And going to be in studio Wednesday. I have something special from Quick Trip to all of our fans. Cannot wait to reveal that. That will be Wednesday on Wilde and Tausch. It's a fun little something that Quick Trip's got for all of its fans.
And you're not going to tell us ahead of time?
No, it's a surprise to us, too. Yeah. We're all going to be surprised together. All right, I want to get some more of your calls. So I love the Tausch tease that for Wednesday without telling any of us. That's great. So be sure to tune in both tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. Friday, we're going to be at Associated Bank at the Titletown branch. All kinds of fun things coming up, but coming up immediately next, more of your calls, 844-770-3776. Stick around. It's Wilde and Tausch.
This is Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN, and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
It's a bully that will not let up until you do something about it. And the worst part is that the bullying happens when you're at your most vulnerable. You might as well have your hands tied behind your back while that bully puts one hand over your mouth and pinches your nose with the other. He'll let up, let you catch your breath, and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows. When you breathe well, you live better. AdventKnows.com. Results may vary.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Did you know Love was born November 2nd? Did you know Love was raised in Bakersfield, California? Did you know Love played college football at Utah State? Are you looking for lots of Love touchdowns the rest of this football season? Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor, where we love being your one-stop shop for everything alcohol-related. With our selection of over 15,000 varieties of beer, wine, liquor, and mixers, all at the lowest prices in town, Discount Liquor has all your tailgating needs covered. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Discount Liquor, 2 locations, Milwaukee on 51st in Oklahoma and in downtown Waukesha on Barstow and Maine.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings. Discount Liquor.
See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Fisco is always there for your auto body care. When accidents happen, Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin is there when you need them. Got a broken mirror? They'll take care of it. Dented bumper? Scratch paint? Fisco Auto Body will take care of it. If there's any damage you need fixed, Fisco has you covered. Their expert workmanship is guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. So stop in for all of your auto bumps and dings. Once again, you know the line. That's Fisco, Fisco, Fisco.
This is Kevin Van Rossum, president of Three Tree Marketing. If your company is struggling to create a buzz or just looking for a new way to stand out, our team is here to help point you in the right direction. We'll assist you in building your brand and prove we truly know what works. Experts at Three Tree can build a one-of-a-kind gifting experience that can set your brand apart and show how much you value your customers as well as your employees. At Three Tree Marketing, we chase partners, not orders. Visit threetreemarketing.com to learn more about what we can do for you.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
The calls continue, 844-770-3776. Let's go south of the border, the Wisconsin border, not the U.S. border, to Mike in Lake Villa, or is it Villa, Illinois. Mike, good morning. How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you guys doing?
We are great. Positives and negatives, what do you got?
Positive. I thought the passing game, the way it was clicking, reminded me of the good old days with Mr. Rogers and Jordy and the gang. I mean, that Watson touchdown. I mean, that looked so effortless. And then the catches that Sims made, that one shoe top, and then Romeo's 2 touchdown catches. So it looks like that's clicking. The negative. I don't want to belabor the Narv dog talk, but Moose Johnson said that he looked bad in practice, and I can concur with that observation. I was at the Rams game sitting in the end zone, and I was watching him, and he spent so much time practicing before the game with the holder thing and with the snapper and long snapper and the holder. I mean, he missed so many in practice. How does he ever get out of? How does he ever overcome that? It must be baked into his head now that he knows he's going to miss. I just know. To me, it's like a golfer. You get the yips, and it takes forever to try and work that out, it seems. So I think his goose is cooked no matter what.
Yeah, and Mike, your point about a golfer, we already talked about this, and lo and behold, he misses another kick to the right. It's always to the, and the part that I don't get, and thanks for the call, we'll get to more calls here in a second, Tausch, is that the whole conversation we had with him was, you know what it is. It's a one-way miss. It's always the same way. So he even said that should make it easier to fix, and he just can't get it fixed.
He has a crisis of confidence. and all athletes go through different stages. But when you're at this point and you're constantly just trying to figure things out, you're in a bad spot. And I don't know, outside of making a bunch of kicks, it's really hard to regain that. And unfortunately, this isn't we'll let him grow into the job. This isn't an offensive guard that you can put someone else out there if it's not going well. Or even a quarterback. You're it. If you're not doing it, you could get put on a practice squad somewhere else, but you have to work through it. This team isn't in the waiting game anymore. This team has grown to the point where they're on the road. You got to be on board. And I don't think there's a ton of confidence from anyone, including himself, as far as where he's at. And that's the worst place to be as a professional athlete. You don't have the confidence. It is almost impossible to be successful at your job.
844-770-3776. Let's go to Chris in Muskego. And Chris, they miss your guy. They miss Devontae Wyatt. There's no denying that. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, they miss him. I'm surprised you remember me. You got a good memory, Jason.
Thank you.
But my positive is the whole doggone team and game. What side of the ball can you complain about? Okay, the missed kick, special teams there. But the punter did a heck of a job. They made tackles. They didn't let anybody bust out. Love threw the ball to, 8, 9, whatever, different receivers, hit everybody. The offensive line did a hell of a job going for the run. The play calling was great. But this is super, super nitpicking. My only negative is, and it seems like it's happened a couple of times, that when we have the ball within 2 minutes of the first half, it's like they're not trying to get down there and score at all. It's like they're pussyfooting around. They're not hurrying up. I mean, I think if they get that killer instinct, let's go put some more points on the board. I mean, when they had Nimrod, it seemed like if they had the ball with 2 minutes, no matter what half it was, they're going to still try and go down and score. But they don't seem to be doing that with Jordan. I'm just wondering why. It's like, come on, get more points on the board, make the point spread even bigger, because the Cardinals are going to get the ball in the second half. So why are you stopping? It's like, put your pedal on the gas pedal and put it in overdrive and go for it. But I don't know why. It seems like the last couple of weeks, they don't want to go for it before the first half ends.
Just to clarify, Nimrod would be A-Rod. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Last year when I called you guys, or whatever it was, when they did the trade, I called him Nimrod, and you both laughed.
Yeah,
Nimrod with me ever since he played the COVID junk.
All right, we appreciate the call, Chris. Thanks a lot. Look,
God, when Nimrod was here, we were so good. Hall of Famer. That's exactly how I think a lot of us feel about it.
So, Tausch, again, he's right. That's a totally nitpicky thing. That underscores how good they were yesterday. I mean, they just were, and that is to the point we kept making. There are lots and lots and lots of instances where you play a team that you should do that to, and you don't.
That you don't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't agree with more.
But you know what? Like you said, it was Arizona that they're playing. So what does it matter? Now,
I don't remember saying, what does it matter?
That was your implication of it.
That's how you inferred it. I didn't imply it.
You keep looking around the NFL, and you see games that are a lot closer. Cleveland-Philly yesterday. That you would think. So don't take – I guess the root of where I'm irritated about it, and you're right, I was irritated by the calls yesterday. And I want you to be honest. I'm not mad at the callers. I'm just kind of questioning, well, what the heck? The root of it is it's really hard to beat teams in this league, and to win by 3 scores doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. When it does, that means something pretty good is going on. And I think something is pretty good that's going on.
Yeah. I don't know what you said after you basically acknowledged that you were taking out your irritation from the callers on me. I just took that as a win.
Just told you. I told you that I wasn't doing that.
We'll have to check the tape.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, I
Check
will.
as much as you want.
Nimrod.
No, you won't. There's no way you will.
844-770-3776, 844-770-3776. We'll get some more of your calls coming up. I was at Fleet Farm over the weekend. On Saturday, they opened Toyland, which is always one of the highlights of the fall heading into Christmas. And Fleet Farm is proud once again to also be partnering with Pink Fund this October. All month long, you will have the chance to round up your purchase, which is what I did when I made my purchase the other day, to help raise funds that go directly back to breast cancer patients in active treatment. Go to fleetfarm.com/pinkfund to learn more about Pink Fund and their partnership with Fleet Farm. And don't forget, I just told you, Toyland is open. And don't miss the huge Toyland deals at Fleet Farm. Find fun toys and games for everyone on your list at prices that you won't believe and you can't beat. Starting on October 12th, which was Saturday, running through the end of the week. Save on all kinds of great brands like Lego, Barbie, Melissa and Doug, Hot Wheels, and more. Find this year's best toys and games during Toyland only at Fleet Farm. We'll get to more of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 10/31/2024.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Matt Jones.
There's a lot of comparisons that happen that aren't fair, but there's a part of me that sits there and looks and goes, remember how good RG3 was that first year, right? Like, I mean, your point about, though, the way we compare black quarterbacks is exactly right. We do the same thing, Myron, to white basketball players. Everybody is not Larry Bird, right? Like there's, and I feel like people they did this for years with Randall Cunningham, right? Like every black quarterback was Randall Cunningham. Jaden Daniels doesn't play like Lamar. He's not like a crazy athletic freak like Lamar. He's just a quarterback that makes really good decisions and throws the ball pretty astoundingly accurate. These accuracy numbers for him are unbelievable. I mean, going into last week, he had the best percentage of any quarterback ever through their first few games. It went down a little last week, but he's just been awesome.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through Hims.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through Hims.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Awarded Best of Weddings 2023 by The Knot, The Bog is much more than world-class golf. Our clubhouse ballroom offers floor-to-ceiling windows and a breathtaking full-wall fireplace. Our barn venue was inspired by the on-site barn at Hole 6, built in the 1800s. 2 outdoor ceremony sites and a variety of personalized options. Our venues are perfect for family get-togethers, weddings, showers, graduation parties, or any event you are hosting. Call The Bog at 262-292-0740 or visit thebarnatthebog.com.
Wilde Tausch is presented by Tito's Handmade Vodka, America's original craft vodka produced in Austin, Texas, and naturally gluten-free. Tito's Handmade Vodka.
The calls roll on. They keep coming in too, Jesse, don't they?
The people keep calling, which is very exciting. I thought, actually, after watching yesterday's game, I thought, oh, Packers kind of cruised to victory. Like, this will be one of our lighter call days.
Beat a
Let's
bad
plan
team.
to hear some Jordan Love, some Matt LaFleur. And
that's what I heard.
This has turned out to be probably our busiest call show of the football season so far, which is awesome.
All right, well, let's keep going with them. 844-770-3776. Let's go down to Kenosha and talk to Chris. Chris, thanks for holding on, buddy. What do you got for us?
Hey, good morning, guys. Great show. Love listening to you.
Thank you.
I guess my positive would be the offensive line, both in the run and the pass game, because they did a good job keeping Jordan Love upright and opened up some good holes for all the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my negative, along with a lot of other people, is the kicking game. But like you said, if there's not somebody out there they think is going to be better, I don't know if they're going to change until maybe he costs them a game.
Well,
the other negative I have to go along with Tausch is the officiating. I thought was really inconsistent.
Yeah, I agree with every. Let's get into a few things that Chris said there. Thanks for the call, Chris. We appreciate it. First of all, his point about the officiating, that obviously stuck in your craw as well, even though most of the penalties actually went against Arizona, and they had some pre-snap, neutral zone infractions. Those I don't think were on the officiating crew. That was on them. But what bothered you about the officiating?
No, it just I love the flow of a game where you're not calling all this stuff. The penalty on Chris Barnes was garbage. It was a bad call. It just felt like it was every other play a penalty. And yeah, I don't think it was bad against Green Bay. I thought Green Bay got there was a PI that was missed early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But you could call that. I don't mind that didn't get called. It's just I like the flow of a game to be where I'm not always looking over and saying, what happened here? What's this? And you didn't get that yesterday, and I just thought the officials were constantly looking for stuff. When I prefer it when it's unless it's egregious, I don't want it called. That was the main thing from yesterday. And if you like a good flow to a football game yesterday, wasn't it? And I do, and it wasn't.
What about Chris's point about the offensive line? I love LaFleur's line about somebody asked him if he felt like the Cardinals were getting frustrated and they started to blitz more. And he said, yeah, that's how you get when a guy's back there, he's got enough time to bake a pizza.
Yeah. Well, the pass protection, I think, has been really good.
He had forever.
He did, and part of that, I always am going to give players a ton of credit. And our offensive line, I think, has been really good this season, and not having to mishmash a lot of guys around. And, knock on wood, you've been staying pretty healthy, which is great. The the run game, the way they set things up, and the way Jordan got the ball out of his hand yesterday, especially on some Arizona played a very soft zone, and they gave a lot of stuff up. Jaden Reed and some stuff underneath that was just like, shooting fish in a barrel. It was beautiful. That part gets you confidence, but being able to run the ball, and a little stat I sent you guys, and I think it was Dusty Everly, I think is who sent it or put it out on Twitter, and I think I sent that to you. Jordan's knee is getting better. I told you could see it the way he's running. Green Bay is one of the – I don't know how many other teams are playing under center as much as Green Bay does, but it is such an advantage when you can do it. 64% of the snaps, according to Dusty, yesterday, were under center. And what you do by that is when you're a pass rusher, you see gun, you go. And you can figure out if you can get the running back on the ground from there and run game, everything else. When you're under center, you have to almost take a false step or a brace for the run step on first and second down. That gives your guys a big advantage. So I think Jordan's health and feeling more comfortable being able to go under center helps too. So just everything is marrying up. And that's what Matt LaFleur said when he got hired. That's what he wanted to do. And it helps your offensive line a ton, and I thought that group. But I would bet today, or whenever you talk to Steno, Thursday, I think, I don't think they're going to be as pleased with the run game as everybody said. The numbers are great. Numbers, 38 for 179.
Correct.
That's good production. But I didn't think Josh Jacobs, it wasn't a clean game. There's a couple too many TFLs or, 0 and 1 yard gains yesterday. I didn't think it was the cleanest game. And I know Bulaga breaks down the film a lot more than I do. I'll be curious his take on it. But Emmanuel was fantastic. A lot of open space, a lot of long runs. I think he averaged 6 or 7 a carry, and that helped get those numbers up. But I didn't think Josh Jacobs had a particular great game running the football. It was just a workman, pound it, physical. And I can live with that as a day, but it wasn't. I didn't think it wasn't the greatest day in the run game. I thought the pass protection was fantastic, though.
All right, a couple things on that. Josh Jacobs finished the day 18 carries for 62 yards. Of those 62 yards, one of them was a 14-yard run. So now you're looking at 17 carries for 48 yards during the course of the game. That's a lot of negative yardage plays. To your point about Dusty Everly's numbers that he shared, and we asked Matt LaFleur and Steno about this the last couple of weeks. They had not been under center a very high percentage. In this first game back, under center 5.4% of the snaps, according to Dusty. Second game back, 22.4% of the snaps. That would have been the Rams game. Yesterday, 35.7% of the snaps under center.
Okay.
So continuing an upward trajectory.
You're seeing it going up, yep. And in a league where, it's gone so far the other way, it even differentiates you more. Wisconsin went under center 2 or 3 times in the game. They never do. So you're just seeing you see it matters a little bit. It just changes how defenses approach getting up the field in comparison to maybe we got to at least take one brace step here, a step to read things rather than just go. And that helps offensive linemen in a big way.
All right, we'll get some more of your calls, 844-770-3776. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll get to you coming up. Want to remind you, not only do we talk about Associated Bank all the time on this show, but on Friday, we'll be at Associated Bank at the Titletown branch here in Green Bay. We are scheduled to be joined by one of Tausch's old teammates, Andrew Corliss. We can talk to him about what he sees from the Packers tight ends. And we can talk a lot of other Packers football live from the Titletown branch of Associated Bank. So come on out. We'll see you there. But even if you can't make it, you can still be an Associated Bank customer and take advantage of all the great things that come with it, including the best customer service in the industry. They've got the awards to prove it. And if you don't want to be a Packers checking account fan because you're not a Packers fan, like somebody I know. Maybe you want the Badgers. Maybe you want the Brewers. Maybe you want just their regular checking with the great customer service. Whatever it is, Associated Bank's got you covered. Go to AssociatedBank.com to find out more. More of your calls next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
Tomorrow's business leaders are in our classrooms today. With our exciting programs in business, Junior Achievement of Wisconsin ignites the entrepreneurial spirit in young minds through the development of business plans, the study of market needs, and the experience of real-world applications. Help us foster the next generation of innovators. Learn how you can support or get involved in Junior Achievement's entrepreneurship programs at wisconsin.ja.org. Junior Achievement, inspiring, preparing, succeeding.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher here for my friends at Kohler Services. If you need a bath or shower remodel, turn to Kohler Services. Family owned for 150 years, Kohler is your Wisconsin manufacturer providing care for life. And this month only, get 0 interest for 12 months and a free shower door with your Lugstone shower remodel. Visit KohlerServicesWI.com to request your free quote with fast professional installation always included. That's KohlerServicesWI.com.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Hey, this is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here to tell you about QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people get their life back, and I was able to see that with my own very eyes. I went and checked out the Greenfield location, got my free consultation to have them take a look at my back, and it was unbelievable. All the tools that QC Kinetics has in their toolkit to help people get their life back, enhance their joints, and finally get rid of that nagging joint pain. The free consultation I had was a robust diagnosis to help me figure out what the best personal journey was back to health. There are so many things at the cutting edge of cellular treatments that QC Kinetics is utilizing to give countless patients back their lives again. There's already been tens of thousands of satisfied patients all throughout the country, and you could be one too. It's finally time to get your life back and visit QC Kinetics just like I did and get your free consultation. Call them today at 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
It's time for the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Experience elite orthopedic care at OAW. Their skilled teams in Pewaukee, Brookfield, and Mukwonago offer tailored treatment for your needs.
The first 2 preseason games have seen 0 wins for the Bucks, but as we all know, preseason isn't about wins and losses. And with the regular season fast approaching next week, don't expect Doc Rivers to be holding his stars back at all for longevity's sake.
No, you are who you are, and that's what makes him great. That's what makes all these players great is they just play. I mean, those guys don't think about it because that's how they play.
The Bucks take on the Chicago Bulls tonight in preseason action at Fiserv Forum. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock.
This has been the Milwaukee Basketball Report on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Book your appointment today at orthowisconsin.com.
Michelle, can you believe I've had 20 beers?
What?
I said, can you believe Professional Construction Inc. has been around for 20 years?
Sure, that's what you said. It feels just like yesterday we started the business.
In all seriousness, we want to say thank you to our valued customers, family, and friends.
And all those who have helped us get to this huge milestone. So from our family to yours, thank you.
Professional Construction Inc., your go-to contractor for 20 years.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Appreciate everyone's patience. I love it when we get calls now after games. just love getting a better idea of how fans see the game, because I do have blind spots when you're not a fan.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
I didn't need your help with that. I thought I covered it pretty well, actually.
Oh, well, I thought I'd chime in.
Let's go to Brianna in Milwaukee. Brianna, thanks for holding on for so long. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thanks. I'm doing good. How are you guys?
We are outstanding. Super. What are your positives and negatives?
Well, first of all, when I started listening this morning, I had to call in on Tausch's behalf because my husband and I were at the game last night listening to the game night afterwards, and we started laughing so hard because we were like, did we watch the same game as all of these people? Because the Packers played awesome. It was dominance from beginning to end. There was never a question on whether or not we were going to win the game. So, Tausch, I just had to call in and say, I agree with you 100% on that. Negatives, like everybody
Can we hang
said,
up on her now?
Was the kicking game.
Can we just hang up on her
I want to
now?
make sure, Jesse, make sure Brianna's got a fast pass to any Monday show she wants to call. Okay, continue.
No, I do have to say, side note, Jason, every time I go to a gas station now, I always request a receipt so I don't have that same situation that happened last year to you where you got chased down and you couldn't figure out when to go back and pay for your gas when they got...
Great pull.
I forgot about that great fiasco.
Brianna, quick question, though. What if you're paying out at the pump and it says you have to go in to get the receipt? You're always going to go in to get it still?
No, actually, then I leave. I figure they've printed the receipt, so there's some proof somewhere. That's my thought. But also on Romeo Doubs, we were there pretty early, and his body language with all of the other players when they were practicing, it was phenomenal. So I know he may not have been as excited after his touchdowns, but he was hugging, he was dancing. So he looked good to me that way.
Okay.
So those are my positives, negatives, and all of the side stuff.
Well, okay. Everything except the supporting Tausch made this a great call. We appreciate you. Call anytime. I don't know about the fast pass thing. We'll have to wait and see on that. Look, I'm glad she brought this up, though, because I am in, look, we don't know as much as we think we know or we want to know. I would say this, though, Jordan Love mentioned him not being all that excited. Christian Watson mentioned it. I did think it was interesting that the guys that do know him and maybe felt like they thought they knew him until what happened, 2 weeks ago now almost, happened. Maybe that's part of it. All I want for him is that he is in a healthy mental space. To me, that's the most important thing, because I can't reiterate this enough. The fact that his teammates were worried that something really tragic had happened when he didn't come and didn't call anyone, that underscores how worried they were. And again, I also want to be clear in talking with guys, there was a feeling of they didn't understand why he didn't come to them. You heard Love yesterday, right? Talking about it's a family and it's a brotherhood. We'll have to get to all those clips tomorrow sometime because we took calls today. But I thought he said some really good stuff on that front.
Yeah, I think the Romeo situation, I had some folks kind of throwing stuff because you and I have went into this discussion in what I think is a very meaningful and big way, because it is. I think tomorrow I'd be more than happy to hit on kind of my thoughts, because we got a ton of callers and we only have 58 minutes left. I don't want to sidetrack where my thought is on it and get maybe a little deeper into where you're at. We'll do that tomorrow.
Yep, I like the sound of that. Let's do one more now, and then we can continue with calls to kick off the 11 o'clock hour. Let's go to Charles in Brookfield, and Jeff and Patrick and Dan and Caleb will get to you coming up here. Charles, good morning. Thanks for holding on so long. What do you got for us, buddy?
Hey, thanks for taking my call. I guess my positive is, we played a bad team, but we did what we were supposed to do against a bad team. We took care of business. Negative, I'm just actually looking more from I'm asking your guys' perspective of, you guys think, Jordan Love is being a little bit careless with the ball, throwing these deep, long passes in double and sometimes triple coverage? Because I feel like when we do our short game, were unstoppable. Like when we were going for 4 to 6 yards or sweeping Reed to, with a handoff, it just was unstoppable. So I was just wondering what you guys thought about that. Do you like Jordan Love's aggressiveness and playing the deep ball as much as he's been doing?
Yeah, Charles, thanks for the call. And since Tausch is fast-passing people that agree with him, since you agreed with me on your assessment of the game, enjoy your fast pass for your next call next week. Look, I do think, and Tausch helped me out on this, I think Jordan Love is feeling out his greater autonomy and the greater level of trust, and if you want to take some chances now, we're okay with it. I did not think he put the ball in harm's way at all yesterday. Like, the interception was not his fault. Both slips. Not at all. And as the ball's coming out of his hand, there's nothing he can do. But, like, the downfield throw to Watson, I mean, he was open as open could be against a six-time Pro Bowler. Like, he crushed him, and the ball was right where it needed to be. I don't disagree with Charles at all about what he did against the Rams, what he has done, and I think he will still do it. I think he is, Tausch, pushing the envelope a little bit to see what he can and can't do. And I think that's what you should do as a young quarterback, while also recognizing that checkdowns can turn into big plays in this offense, like Tucker Kraft's 66-yard touchdown the other day, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, there was the one throw, I think it was 4th down, that he threw it over a outstretched hand of, I think, Chris Barnes' linebacker, and it was a super tight window.
Yeah.
But you can't be hypocritical and say, well, you shouldn't make that throw. Do you remember the throw that Aaron Rodgers threw to Greg Jennings in the Super Bowl over Ryan Clark's fingertip? Nobody's saying that. You have to make those throws. This is – I know Arizona stinks. Lord knows Jason has pounded that point into everybody today. But that still means not everything is going to be a Christian Watson throw where you're open by 8 yards. That doesn't happen in this league. You have to fit the ball into tight windows, and you have to be smart about when you do that and how you do it. And I think Jordan is still – I liked what you said there. I was actually going to tell Jesse to soundgraph that, trying to find his autonomy, where he's at. I think it's a great point because for as much as he's played, he still has a long way to kind of figure out all of those, when to take calculated good risks and how strong his arm is and how athletic he is, to when it's just smart to just do. You have to play within the system about 85% of the time. Rodgers would get out of the pocket and do those ad-lib plays, and he started doing too much of it. Jordan is trying to figure out what's that right balance, and Matt LaFleur is trying to not rein him in. Let him figure that out. That's part of the linear growth process that Jason is always talking about.
Yeah. I'm glad I appreciate that. All right, I want to get to more of your calls to kick off the 11 o'clock hour, 844-770-3776. Jesse also has some text messages that I know he wants to get to, so we will play double trivia later in the week. I want to play double Wisconsin geography trivia. That way Tausch gets to play along.
I like that.
No end of show trivia?
That.
It's been so long since we've had the rush of end of show trivia.
No, I'm with Jason. I'm with Jason. Arizona stinks, and we want double
What a great day.
There we go.
Now we got to get Brianna
Jason's wore me out.
on board.
I'm no longer, oh, the Packers are really good, and they're on the right trajectory. I'm now joining the Arizona Stinks Club. It's just easier. I don't want to. It's easier.
And make sure you get a receipt for your gas. So
Packers are 4-0, by the way, against teams 500 or worse, and 0-2 against teams with records over 500 this year.
Interesting stat. Tausch, another interesting stat. How many Coors? No, not really. How many Coors Lights did you enjoy in Piscataway that were Blue Mountain cold and you drank them right away?
0 Piscataway Coors Lights this weekend. We were there. It was quick. Our flight got delayed, so it wasn't there very long. It was bing, bang, boom. Coors Light brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered, and it is cold packaged, so it's made to chill. And those mountains on Coors Light's cold activated bottles and cans, they need to be blue. That's when you know it is chilled to perfection. That's why it is Coors Light in my hand when I need a moment to chill. Sub responsibly, Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
The 11 o'clock hour kicks off in 2 minutes, so stick around. It's Wilde Tausch.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin, the ESPN app, and Wisconsin On Demand.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank. Tri-City National Bank offers a full suite of personal and business banking products at 28 convenient locations. Open your account today at the community bank that was voted Milwaukee's best bank. Learn more at tcnb.com.
It appears in his third game back from injury, Jordan Love is starting to figure it out once again and starting to feel more comfortable as he goes 22 of 32 for 258 yards and 4 touchdowns on Sunday as the Pack get a 34-13 win over the Cardinals. A game in which head coach Matt LaFleur had all the praise for his young quarterback.
His play's been better and better and better, and he's playing with a lot of confidence, and thought he threw the ball pretty well today. That is definitely a good thing for us.
Romeo Doubs getting back in the action as well. He has 2 touchdown catches in his return from suspension.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank.
Think owning a home is just a dream? No dream at Tri-City is too extreme. Talk to us and we'll show you how that dream you're dreaming can be reality now. Tri-City National Bank, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 433891.
Stay up to date on the green and gold all season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
At IKEA, we know the kitchen is the heart of your home. It's where family gathers after a busy day and where special moments with friends unfold. IKEA can help you turn that heart into a dream space you've always wanted. With endless styles, colors, and features, IKEA's lineup offers countless kitchen possibilities. And now, through October 29th, enjoy 10% off kitchen and appliance purchases of $5,000 or more. Save today on cabinets, countertops, appliances, and yes, even the kitchen sink. Visit IKEA Oak Creek or IKEA.com/US to start building your dream kitchen today.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune into Kyle Bruston Nortman from 2 to 5 every day. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The 11 o'clock hour of Wilde Tausch begins now, but it continues with your calls. And we will not be playing end of show trivia, so be ready for double trivia Wednesday on Wisconsin geography. Let's start with the calls again with Jeff in Milwaukee. Jeff, you held on forever. I hope it was worth it, buddy. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks. It's always worth it as long as Jesse doesn't cut me off too early. I think it'll be great. So,
don't tempt me, Jeff.
All right. I know, Jesse. I know you're the one with the power. I know your odds. Okay,
just ask
I'll behave here. Yeah. So, okay, I called yesterday after the show, and my
using the
really,
pseudonym of Phil or no?
No. So we're going to get to Phil in a minute. He's one. Phil is one disturbed fella. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, it's just unbelievable. All right, so I'm going to give kudos to both you guys. Jason, I'm glad that you're going to be writing an article about Brooks. All that guy does, if you look at people that are making plays relative to the amount of time that they're on the field, I mean, this guy just, he reminds me, I'll tell you, reminds me of the guy that used to do this all the time was Colin Jenkins. When they'd bring him in and all he did was make plays, and you're like, why isn't this guy playing more? So I'll be thrilled to see the article you're going to write on him. Totally great idea. That guy just makes plays.
And considering how much comparing I do now, I'm going to have to compare him to Colin Jenkins. Right after I get done with the comparison between Evan Williams and Micah Hyde's story, which I'll also be working on.
All right, that's great. I mean, reference points are important. Okay, so the positives are really Love and his decision-making. I thought his decision-making, like I said last night, was great. And also I want to give a positive to LaFleur. And the reason is he said after the game, what's going to haunt him about the game is after they recovered the fumble, they had a 3-play sequence where they went nowhere. And I just love that bugged him, because it bugged me too. It's like, they kind of pass 3 times in a row instead of running the ball, chewing up the clock, and trying to move in a little bit more. So I just love the fact. I love the fact that it bothered the guy, that he's just always striving to get better. And I think people need to, and, Jason, you talked about this a little bit, they need to put Love in perspective. I think the guy is just going to keep getting better. And like I said, Aaron Rodgers' accuracy didn't really start to kind of drive in until the end of his second year, middle of his third year. This guy is just going to keep getting better. And his relationship with LaFleur, the trust that those two have, it's so obvious, and especially juxtaposed to when Rodgers was leaving, that you compare the trust the two of them have there compared to what Jordan and him have now. It's totally different, and you can see it. And I think Jordan Love, he's not going to be a rocket ship, but he's going to continue to get better. Now, you guys have asked a lot of questions. Well, how do you put this game in perspective relative to who they played? It's very simple. They're getting better every week. I do think that the game against Houston is going to be a defining game, meaning they need to beat that team. They need to beat a team with a winning record. And I think it's going to be a huge game, and I think they will do it. But that's how I would put it in perspective. In terms of the Cardinals, people want to be negative about it. Let them be negative. But they played better, and they're getting better every week. My final thing is about Dobbs, and I'm going to ask you a question, Jason. First of all, I know you guys got a lot of heat about the mental health stuff last week. I actually thought you guys were really, really sensitive about it and really good about it, and handled it as well as you could. Dobbs, you look at how he reacted yesterday. I don't know why everybody's making such a big deal about it. That's not any different than how the guy's been for the last 2 or 3 years. That is who he is. It would have been worse if the guy was Mr. Animated before this and then he reacted. This kind of is who he is. And so my question is, and don't get upset, it's just a question. Jason, this guy is like the anti-Jason. He's an introvert. He doesn't like talking about his feelings. He's not very forward with all that stuff. And you're a writer that is an extrovert, loves talking about the human condition, loves talking about feelings. Is it harder for you because he is just so different from you? That was just a question I had.
Yeah, no, I totally understand different people being different with us and being different from me. I think if you listen to what I've said about him, I'm fine with him not liking the part about talking to us. I get that. I did think that it was part of moving forward for their team. And I do think that the team felt the same way about him. I don't think that their PR guys were massaging the situation to try and get him to talk because they just wanted us to get what we wanted. I think they felt like it was a part of the equation for moving this story forward and not having to deal with that hanging over them. If you want to call it an issue, we can, was from the number of conversations I had with guys in the locker room, and I'm talking a bunch of different guys. I think there was we accept Romeo for who he is, but the way he chose to go about this issue without letting any of us in, even if you're an introvert on the team, and Tausch, you've played on a much higher level than me, so everybody's got a different personality. But does it make sense that there were guys that were, I don't want to say angry, because angry's too strong, but something stronger than just disappointed that, hey, we're a team, we're a brother. You kept hearing it. They kept using it yesterday again. We're a brotherhood. We're a family. That they felt like it was like, come on, man, you know better than that. We're here for you, and you didn't even bother to talk to us. That's the part that I think has struck me way more than anything about how he behaves with us. Yeah,
we'll talk about that tomorrow.
844-770-3776. Okay.
No, it's a complicated issue. I don't want to poo-poo it. I also want to delve into it. I am more than happy we have. I know that this is something that Packer fans are very curious about. My mindset on this hasn't changed all that much. Give you a little tease into where I'm at. Yesterday was great for Romeo to go out and score 2 touchdowns. It was great for obviously the team and that whole process. But I don't think that much has changed in this whole ordeal. I think this is still a lot of Natasha Bedingfield, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay. 844-770-3776. While Jesse's worrying about some sort of controversy on Twitter
I'm mad at you
about
guys.
whether or not he deserved to get points yesterday.
Cheaters.
Off of the, let's just go to Patrick in Minneapolis and skip over your concerns about your precious lead in the Steinhoffel Sleepers of the Week. Patrick, good morning. Thanks for holding on. What do you got?
Morning, fellas. Long time no talk.
Yeah, where you been?
Positive. Well, yeah. Now I have a class during the call-in show on Mondays.
Come on.
If I want to keep,
Would you skip
yeah,
today?
I know.
What are you doing? Where's your priorities? What are you doing?
I took a personal day. So I ran the Chicago Marathon yesterday, and I took a personal day today to,
it's a pretty good
treat
flex.
the body well.
Sweet brag, bro. That's awesome.
So I just did the decathlon. I just won an Olympic medal. No big deal.
Well, you asked what I was doing at home. I was just answering.
That's true.
your question,
Very
honestly.
fair.
Yeah, it's
Very
fair.
fair. Yeah.
By
What's
the way,
really
if I ever ran a marathon, you would know about it on a daily basis. So I'm surprised it took you that long to tell. How did you finish, Patrick?
I did well.
won it.
I PR'd and qualified for Boston, although you'll probably think that's another flex, huh?
No, it's an awesome flex. Heck yeah.
Just because
you
it's-
should be flexing all over it.
Just because it's a flex doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
No,
Congratulations.
That's
all right.
what that's.
Well, I'm somewhat uncomfortable talking about my. Let's get out of the positives.
All right, Romeo.
Okay? Getting out to an early lead, a dominant lead, which allows the team to then maintain a balanced attack rather than having to shift the game plan and play catch up, as was the case a few weeks ago. Now, I don't know whether Arizona is any good. I tend to think it's too soon to say. Maybe they could turn it around, maybe not. There's a lot of road left to exhaust Wilde's or was it Tausch's metaphor. I do know that you can only play who's on your schedule, and the difference between winning and losing is awfully slim in the NFL. If Arizona isn't any good, and they certainly weren't yesterday, the Packers did to them what they should have done. They won and won decisively, and thanks in no small part because they got out of the gates fast. So is this where I give Tausch a chance to respond, or should I just roll into my
I don't know.
keep rolling.
I don't know what we're supposed
just
to do
keep
now.
rolling.
Yeah.
No, keep
You got
rolling.
off to a fast
all right,
start
let's roll.
in the marathon, too,
I've been writing notes down, Patrick, if I have something
Okay,
I
good,
can jump
good.
in later.
Well, yeah, and so I hope you'll understand, I wasn't able to watch the game live, but
Because you were running a
hopefully made up for
marathon.
that fact.
Because you ran a marathon. Yep.
Well, but I
think
was.
I heard you had a
was-
PR,
I-
Patrick. Is that accurate too? You had a PR in your marathon?
I will say this: I donned my Packers sweatsuit down Michigan Avenue all afternoon yesterday.
Awesome.
So that's something I'm
Where
willing
does that
to,
finish? Where does that finish? The marathon down there.
It's Grant Park, south side of Grant Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your negative?
So I haven't had a chance to check the tape. I did. Looking at the box score, I was trying to interpret the narratives it offered. And here's my real negative, although it's probably more of a question for you guys. It appears, at least from the stat line, that despite winning the takeaway battle, the D didn't get home to the QB. No sacks, minimal TFLs, QB pressures. So are we still dealing with a pass rush issue, or are those stats misleading?
Yeah, I mean, I think you always want to have more pressures than what you had. But Kyler Murray, the way he beat San Francisco and the way he beats teams is by getting outside of the pocket and using his legs and then being able to make big plays by putting a ton of pressure on your perimeter because he's outside of there, and he had the 50-some-odd-yard touchdown run against San Francisco that if you eliminate that, you probably win the game. I really think Jeff Hafley's made it a point to his edge guys. And I saw this a few times with, I think it was Kingsley, where they could have went and made a move on their offensive tackle, but they made sure to keep their shoulder above where Kyler so he couldn't bounce outside and to stay level with him so that he couldn't sneak inside. You know what I mean? So it wasn't one of these, all hell, let's get to the quarterback. It was be smart with your rush. Be disciplined with your rush lanes and don't let him. So even though there wasn't these, 4 sacks and a bunch of pressures, the fact that they held him to 16 yards rushing, I thought was more important than 2 sacks. You left him in there. You didn't let him make the big chunk explosives, and I thought that was the key to the game, and the Packers executed it well.
Patrick, congrats.
Hope that answers your question.
It does. It has to because we got more calls to get to. Patrick, congrats on the marathon. We appreciate you taking your personal
appreciate
day.
You.
All right. I want to get some more calls, 844-770-3776, and a couple of text messages. Before we can do that, I don't know where they go from here, but I still think that I can't remember who. We've had so many calls, but someone talked about this Texans game. I'm not going to move the goalpost. Okay, I am putting the goalpost in the ground. And you will not hear me after they beat the Texans on Sunday then saying on Monday, well, maybe the Texans aren't very good. That one I believe in. So we'll see what that game ends up being. I believe the Packers are favored right now by 3, which is obviously the home field advantage number, generally speaking. So it's a pick-em game. But I'm eager to see how they perform against the Texans. And I'm eager to hear Tausch tell us about AmFam.
Well, I love talking AmFam, and this is the last week to get in. Packer fans looking for that ultimate game day experience, well, American Family Insurance has you covered. Very own VIP tailgate, and you cheer on the Packers from great seats. Enter the Dream Weekend Sweepstakes to win these amazing game tickets. Private tailgate, you get a bunch of Jordan Love merch, much, much more. Don't miss out. Go to amfam.com/Packers to enter. You have, well, I guess you got a week. You'll have until next Monday at 11:59 to get in. amfam.com/Packers to enter. No purchase is necessary. Dream fearlessly. Insure carefully.
A few more calls to wrap things up on the phone lines, and then we'll get to your texts as well. Next, it's Wilde Tausch.
On air, online, and on demand. Get all your favorite ESPN Wisconsin content anywhere you get your podcast for free. The new Wisconsin On Demand. It's free, it's everywhere, and it's for you. After every single green and gold game.
You can say it doesn't matter, but that's not being fair.
There's only one place to go for instant reaction.
Once, since they won the Super Bowl in 2010, one season, have they done better than 10th in points given up.
And to give yours on the Boda Box Wine Line. Tune into Green Bay Game Night with Homer after every green and gold game. Right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Calling all early bird Christmas shoppers. Toyland at Fleet Farm is officially open. We've got loads of must-have toys from Hot Wheels, Barbie, Ertl, John Deere, and more. Plus, stop in now for 20% off all Lego playsets. Melissa and Doug activity bundles are just $9.99. And take 30% off all puzzles. Come on in and wrap up all your fun at Fleet Farm, the place for the season's best deals on everything you need for under the tree.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Marquette Hilltopper Peyton Roby Brown. The senior whined out a huge night last week in Marquette's big win against Sussex Hamilton, a 50-10 revenge win after giving up 50 points to Hamilton last season. Roby Brown going for 200-plus yards on 9 catches and 2 touchdowns in the win. While the senior certainly is excelling on the field for the 7-1 Hilltoppers football squad, he is a 3-sport athlete. Roby Brown also a part of the Hilltoppers boys basketball squad and the track and field team. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Peyton Roby Brown.
Milwaukee College Prep, dedicated to closing the opportunity gap for children in Milwaukee, redefining what's educationally possible so more children can pursue their dreams. Join me, Good Karma Brand's founder CEO Craig Karmazin, and Milwaukee College Prep Thursday, October 17th, and take a stand in closing the opportunity gap for Milwaukee scholars. Your support means quality education accessible to over 2,000 scholars in Milwaukee's most challenged communities. Milwaukee College Prep is closing the opportunity gap. To learn more and purchase tickets, go to MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com and click support.
The little one just took her first steps. Her stride? Wobbly.
Oh my gosh, she's doing
Her parents? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, watch out.
But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score and score monitoring on most new consumer checking accounts. So while you're monitoring and protecting her every move, you can do the same for your credit score too. You've got this with free credit monitor from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at Bucks.com/tickets. That's Bucks.com/tickets.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
All right, let's polish off the calls here. Dan, Caleb, and Jamon, and then we'll... Or is it Jamon? Like Jamon Moore. Great Packers career,
Jamon. And I actually...
All right, so I got it right the first time.
Yep, you were right on it.
All right, well, let's start with Dan in Kewaskum, both of which I just pronounced correctly. Dan, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Absolutely nailed it. Good job, Jason. Great discussion. Great discussion this morning. I've got a couple things that I want to make mention of. I'm going to start with my positives as well. Dovetailing off the last call, absolutely thought that the defensive line's lane containment was out of bounds. You saw, actually, I think you heard Matt LaFleur say that Kyler Murray's like a water bug and really hard to contain, and I think they did that. He wound up with 14 rushing yards, which, when you think about it, is pretty unique. And then also they kept James Conner, the workhorse, in check as well. So 2 really good positives there. On the negative side, and again, I know we're nitpicking because we won, and we've already belabored the point on kicking, but I am going to stick with special teams. You saw that a couple weeks ago. Christian Watson went down with an ankle, and then now Dontavian Wicks has a shoulder that might make him week to week.
Yeah.
Please explain to me why we still have Jaden Reed back there collecting punts in one of the more risky plays in all of football. And I know he's a professional and he's a world-class athlete, but all it takes is one, crazy hit on a play that we just need somebody to fair catch because our offense is that good. So maybe that's kind of my negative is why do we still have that happening?
Quick question for you. So you just made that point. Will you be okay at the end of the year when Old Boys special teams rankings come out? Because we've had this discussion before. Oh, don't even return the kick because Aaron Rodgers' offense is better. Just take it at the 20 and go. You're going to be all right with just putting just catch the ball, fair catch every punt. Nobody gets hurt. And then when at the end of the year you say, why do we have no return yards until Swerve and Irvin came in? That's why I think they want to have a spark, and they want someone that can make a play in the punt return game.
That's the statistic I think most of us would look at last. It is not the priority. Yeah. Put Bull Melton back there. wave his hand above his shoulder, catch the ball, and move on.
Well, and I would add this. I would add this to Dan's point. As long as the special teams aren't giving up a ton of huge plays, like part of the problem with some previous regimes, and look, I don't think, as much as I like my Rich Bisaccia back and forths, I don't think he has changed the special teams ethos in a huge way.
Kicking's gotten worse.
Right.
Kicking's gotten worse.
Right. So all I'm saying is if I have to play it safe with Jaden Reed and sacrifice having explosive returns, I am willing to accept that as long as your coverage units are so good that they're not giving up returns.
Well, but I don't want you putting Xavier McKinney out there because I don't want him getting hurt. You get what you guys get what I'm saying?
We
you guys
definitely
understand
do.
Kind of where I'm coming from?
Yeah, we totally do. All right, let's finish up the calls. Let's go to Caleb in Grafton. Caleb, thanks for holding on so long, buddy. What do you got for us?
Hey, guys. Good morning. Couple positives. The first I'm going to start with is Christian Watson. I mean, yeah, that 55-yard touchdown was incredible where he got open, but the thing that I was really impressed with him yesterday was his leadership. I look at his celebration with Romeo Doubs after his first touchdown, just welcoming him back. He was all smiles and just so happy for his friend and teammate. I mean, you talk about a guy that you want to lead the wide receiving core, that you drafted him for, someone that can make those explosive plays but also demonstrate significant leadership. I think Christian Watson demonstrated that beautifully last week and then through the situation and then today, or yesterday.
Amen.
Amen.
The second positive... Yeah, he was great. Second positive's got to be Evan Williams. I mean, you talk about development, forcing that fumble. He's been great in coverage. Just really, really feeling good about him in the future. And it's been mentioned before already, but I think the containment and run defense yesterday was pretty spot on, given the ability of Kyler Murray. As was demonstrated in the San Francisco game, the fact that we didn't give up anything like that was pretty impressive. Getting on to a couple negatives, I think our mid-range pass defense struggled a little bit yesterday. Kind of anything in that 8 to 15 yarders. I think that's how they were able to drive down the field quite a few times, and we were able to force some fumbles or force some punts kind of that pinned us back deep. But I think that's something where we could improve on a little bit. And then this is really nitpicking, but I think Jordan Love I don't think he put the ball too much at risk yesterday, but I think that long touchdown to Romeo Doubs is a pretty 50-50 ball that kind of got lucky that his coverage kind of got lost. And then when he gets rid of the ball, I wish he would just throw it out of bounds instead of throwing it inbounds. And it might not technically be at risk, but there could be a sneaky cornerback or safety that's going to come up and pick that off when you might not see him because he's behind your receiver. So a couple things for you guys to think about. Thanks for taking my call. Happy Victory Monday.
Yeah, Caleb, we appreciate you. Thanks.
Christian Watson's points, I think we've pounded. I couldn't agree more. I think he,
and Evan Williams,
in my mind, who I already had as, from a physical standpoint, a difference maker, he has elevated himself in my book as well, just on how he's handled this scenario. He has been fantastic. I really hope he stays healthy and can really show what he's all about this second half of this run, because like LaFleur said, this offense won't be the same if he's not out there. I know Jesse disagrees with the head football coach and everybody else up at Lambeau and every other football expert, but he is a difference maker. He is.
What about Caleb's point about the throw downfield to Doubs on the second touchdown?
It's an all-out blitz. It was, I don't know if it was third down. I don't remember exactly what the down and distance was. It's a 50-50 ball to a guy you trust. Yes, if old boy had a little bit better awareness, maybe he picks it off. Maybe he doesn't. But you know what? He knows Romeo's got the awareness to find the football, and then for him to slam the brakes on and have the awareness to do all that, I didn't have a problem with it. you tried to make a play. It wasn't like he threw. I'll say this, feel a heck of a lot better about him throwing that ball off of one leg going backwards than throwing it into triple coverage last week when he had a firm base. Feel a lot better about it.
Let's get to one last call for the day, and then we'll get to your texts coming up next. Let's go to Jamon in Dallas. Oh, Jamon, I hope you're keeping an eye on Big Mike for us while you're down there.
Frustrating.
How's it going, Jamon?
It's good. How you guys doing?
We are good. Thanks for the call. What do you got for us?
I have a positive. The positive is the Packers won. Like I said, every day you wake up in the morning and hear that the Packers win. It's always a positive. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it was just the Cardinals," but I mean,
Wilde.
That would be me.
Wilde's a lot of people.
That's me. Yeah, that's me. Fair.
We supposed to come in and handle business like that. You know, you don't supposed to play with your food. You go in and get it out the way. You prepare for next week, which you have Houston, which is going to be a tough battle. So don't go in and play with Arizona. A negative I have, this year I decided to draft Josh Jacobs for my fantasy. Not working out too well. We go 3-and-out. And we're forced to kick a field goal, which we pooped. I'm not sure why, we paying a guy $40 million and we're not just punching the ball down everybody's throat. I'm not sure if the running game is a problem and we're just trying to avoid it, or it's getting overseen because the offense is so explosive. But, I know later on in the year, those are one of the things that we're going to have to work on. Definitely we're planning on making a deep run in the playoffs. Like teams like Detroit, they can just run it down your throat, play action here, I feel like it's something that we're kind of overshadowing because, like I said, the offense, the passing game is so explosive. So just kind of the things that I'm just kind of curious about. Are we shying away from it? Is the run game not as good as we expecting this year? What's really going on?
Great call, Jamon. We appreciate you. All right, so let's talk a little bit about his point about what they've gotten out of Josh Jacobs. Because you did point out...
He's kind of irritated he's not scoring as many touchdowns. That's really what we're talking about.
Yeah, he got in the end zone last week for his first Packers touchdown. They have said very, very, very publicly that they want to get him his first touchdown reception of his career because he has set the NFL record for most receptions in a career without a touchdown. But he has been kind of the dirty work running back. And then Jordan Love's thrown 4 touchdown passes in each of his last 2 home games. No quarterback had done that since Brett Favre in 1995. Aaron Rodgers threw a lot of touchdown passes, but he never had 4 in back-to-back home games like Love did this game and the Minnesota game. But what do you make of Jacobs' role before we go to text messages? How do you feel about
I think he's doing exactly what the Packers hope for. He is I'm going to get you hard yards. We're going to find different ways to get you the football. You're our bell cow. And I think was the Tennessee game or the Indy game where he had 32 touches and we 32. All were like, oh, my God. Oh, slow down. That's what he's here for. He is going to get – if things are humming, if he had more production, I think on those carries, he would have had 25 yesterday. But now – I love the fact that Emmanuel Wilson is – I don't think there's any type of hesitancy to say it's his turn. Get him in there. Because he's bringing a little juice. And as Jaden Reed – what's Jaden Reed's quote?
If you're
you ain't
useless,
got no juice, I ain't got no use. I love it. And we need to – that needs to be part of the show because he's bringing the juice. Josh Jacobs, you just see again – I think this is one of those deals where you're kind of like, all right, you're doing your thing. It gets to be snowy, gets a little windy, gets some crappy weather. We're going to really crank this thing up, and we want him to be ready to go when the money's on the table, late December, January, in playoff football. I think that's what this is headed. Keep him healthy. He's a bell cow dude. He is a bell cow dude, and I think that's what we're seeing.
If you're juiceless, you're useless would be that Jaden Reed.
If you ain't got no juice, I ain't got no use. I like that better. And then I don't have to say I stole it from Josh Jacobs. I can say it's my own.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and
it's
it
very
would have been
similar.
Jaden Reed.
Like, you stole it, and it's not as good. So that's like the worst case scenario. At least steal when it's
good. You
good.
maybe think it's not as good.
It's not as good.
think it's
you
better.
always improve things. You didn't improve that one there. Sorry. You didn't.
No, I did.
No, you didn't.
If you're juiceless, you're useless?
It's a much better phrase.
I disagree.
Bob Moore wishes he had come up with that.
Isn't better. Sorry. How did your prize picks go? Were you useless there and juiceless there too?
So I will tell you, I have my entries right here. Kyler Murray, I went more on 214.5. Guess what he ended up with?
214.
So I lost there. Jaden Daniels, I went more. Won that one, no problem. Anthony Richardson, I went less, way before he DNP'd, so I didn't even get that entry. And then Jordan Love, I went less, as we talked about on Friday. 259.5. What did he end up with?
258.
Boy, Prize Picks was on their game. I had fun with it. Oh, so if Kyler had just thrown, maybe they'll adjust the stat and give him one more yard, and if that's the case, Old T's a big winner, but I lost by 0.5, and I still had fun because Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app. Over 10 million users. Prize Picks, the easiest, most exciting. Talk about exciting. That was exciting yesterday. All you do, pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings rolling. Get in on the daily action with your pals. Become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks. I had 4 correct picks. Could have won 100 times. Didn't work out. Prize Picks, the best way to win real money this season. Make your picks. Less than 60 seconds. It's your sports opinion into real money all season long on Prize Picks. $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to get that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code WI for that $50 instantly after you use your $5 lineup. Again, that's code WI for the $50. Prize Picks. Run
your
game.
More next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch.
Wilde and Tausch continues next on 94.5 ESPN, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and sponsored by American Family Insurance.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this fall? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from ESPN Wisconsin's Kyle Brust and Nortman. I love this time of year. Playoff baseball, the start of hoop season, and of course, football. I'm all about watching the action on the gridiron with a carbless in my hand. Premium, ready-to-drink cocktails with no malt, no carbs, and no sugar. Vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, black raspberry, and lemon lime, and classic cocktail flavors like Paloma or Margarita. Find Carbless at your local grocer and enjoy game day. Carbless. Less is more.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
2 touchdown catches from Romeo Doubs in his return from suspension, plus touchdowns for Jaden Reed and Christian Watson as Jordan Love leads the Packers to a 34-13 victory at home over the Arizona Cardinals. Here's Jordan Love after the win.
We
we just got to keep building upon it, build off this win, off this performance, and go back, handle business this week through our practice. And, we got a really good team coming in here next week. So definitely got to build on this momentum and, keep this rhythm going we got.
Packers, by the way, on defense, recovered 3 fumbles as well.
This has been your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
It's bird bashing season when you swoop into Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to a wicked 50 grand cash in the Bird Bash Game Show. Just play with your rewards card all October for entries. All Bird Bash entries go towards a December 20th giveaway with a monstrous 300 grand in prizes. Bird Bash makes its bewitching return. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Learn more at paysbig.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
Who's looking for a deal? Well, Cousin Subs has a better deal just for you. Cousin's new $10 meal deals are now available online only. Choose between a 7.5-inch ham and provolone, turkey breast, or veggie sub, a bag of chips or regular fry, a regular fountain beverage, and cookie at cousinsubs.com or on the mobile app for just $10. Now that's a better deal. Cousin Subs, we believe in better. Available at participating locations only. Offer subject to change without notice.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
Process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away, and once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at motigusa.com.
You're listening to Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN. Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella at 855-PELLA-WI or visit online at PellaWI.com/radio.
All right, Jesse, I know you've been curating the mountains of text messages. We didn't get to many today. You got one or two that stood out, though?
JR in the car, since we talked so much about Jordan Love's encounters with Chris Barnes, my negative is that the Packers didn't re-sign. But re-sign is always such a goofy word because it looks like
resign. Because it's also resign.
Yeah,
Need the hyphen. Need the hyphen.
My negative is that the Packers didn't re-sign Barnes. He seemed to be the only player on the Cardinals defense that made any plays.
We're already begging, how do we get Edgerrin Cooper on the field more, and you want Chris Barnes back?
Well, I think
thanks.
I think Chris Barnes previously might have helped, but yeah, they're better now at linebacker, and they certainly
Chris
are better.
Barnes, hey, you're doing a nice job on as Jason said, one of the worst teams he's ever seen.
That's not what I said.
Keep working.
Next.
In essence.
It's not
in
anywhere
essence,
close
that's
to what I
you
said. I just said they weren't very good. That's what I said.
Always want to check the text.
But the Chicago White Sox of football. That's not what I said.
Always great when we get a text from this person. I will reveal who it is in a moment.
Dan Kelly?
Erica.
Regarding the Narv dog.
Matt LePay.
What about bringing in a Mason Crosby or Adam Vinatieri as a consultant? I wonder if it takes a kicker to fix a kicker, and quality long-term guys like that might get it when regular coaches don't.
I'd like to get like a Ronaldo. Bring like a Messi.
Wait a minute. Who sent the text?
It's Easton. Oh.
Jason F.
Jack Rabbit Mama weighs in with
JRM.
that idea.
All these guys have their personal kicking coaches, including the Narv dog. Now they're not.
Maybe he wants a new one.
Maybe bring him to town.
If this is what your coach is giving you, I think it is really difficult. Kicking is so mental. It is so mental. It's really hard to get over it. You have everybody judging you, and you're not hitting your stride. Mm-hmm. It's really difficult. I get it, man. It's tough. It is a tough deal. Hopefully he works through it, or hopefully Green Bay finds an alternative that's going to work, because this is not trending in the right way.
Yeah. All right, we'll wrap things up next. It's Wilde Tausch.
This is Wilde Tausch, brought to you by Grassland Butter. Grassland Dairy is Wisconsin. Learn more at grasslandbutter.com.
Victory Monday is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza. With delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian, Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Want that mirror finish on your car? You need Z-Gloss by Z-Bart. Z-Gloss is a 3-layer ceramic coating that not only gives your car that mirror finish, it protects it from everything that Mother Nature can throw at it. Visit zbart.com for more information.
2 touchdown catches from Romeo Doubs in his return from suspension, plus touchdowns for Jaden Reed and Christian Watson as Jordan Love leads the Packers to a 34-13 victory at home over the Arizona Cardinals. Here's Jordan Love after the win.
We just got to keep building upon it, build off this win, off this performance, and go back, handle business this week through our practice. And, we got a really good team coming in here next week. So definitely got to build on this momentum and, keep this rhythm going we got.
Packers, by the way, on defense, recovered 3 fumbles as well.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
A fall football Sunday in Green Bay. It just doesn't get much better. And Ticket King is the place to get you there this Sunday to see the green and gold. With offices in Milwaukee and Green Bay, Ticket King is your local and most trusted source to buy Green Bay tickets. Experience a fall football in Green Bay by visiting theticketking.com or call 414-273-6007. Follow Ticket King on Facebook and Instagram. Find tickets for Sunday's big matchup with Houston at theticketking.com.
Hey, this is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman here to tell you about QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people get their life back, and I was able to see that with my own very eyes. I went and checked out the Greenfield location, got my free consultation to have them take a look at my back, and it was unbelievable. All the tools that QC Kinetics has in their toolkit to help people get their life back, enhance their joints, and finally get rid of that nagging joint pain. The free consultation I had was a robust diagnosis to help me figure out what the best personal journey was back to health. There are so many things at the cutting edge of cellular treatments that QC Kinetics is utilizing to give countless patients back their lives again. There's already been tens of thousands of satisfied patients all throughout the country, and you could be one too. It's finally time to get your life back and visit QC Kinetics just like I did and get your free consultation. Call them today at 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
This is Kevin Van Rossum, president of 3 Tree Marketing. Send gifts to appreciate anyone, anywhere, anytime with a gift of your choice by using our gifting solutions technology. Our team handles it all, from concepting, site creation, as well as production of branded products. Elevate your brand's connection to its consumers by creating the ultimate gifting experience with us. Make the art of gifting effortless for yourself. At 3 Tree Marketing, we chase partners, not orders. Visit 3treemarketing.com to see what we can do for you.
This is Wilde Tausch on 94.5 ESPN, sponsored by American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Tausch is saving his Romeo Doubs thoughts for tomorrow, so be sure to tune in for that. A quick little tidbit on the Narv dog, Braden Narvison's misses. He is 12 of 17 officially on the season. Remember, he also had another miss that was wiped out by penalty. He is 4 for 4 on kicks from 20 to 29 yards. 3 for 4. Keep it in there. 3 for 4 on kicks from 30 to 39 yards. 5 for 9 from 40 to 49 yards, and has not yet attempted a 50-yard field goal.
Because I'm telling you, it'd be better to let him try one. That's where you can gain some confidence, and nobody's that mad if you miss a 58-yard field goal.
We'll see what happens with him.
They should have done it when they were up 31-13 yesterday. They should have had him take one from 57. Just let it rip.
I totally agree with you, Jesse.
Not what happened. That's it for us today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Have a great day. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on Wisconsin On Demand.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
The kick is up and wide left.
Why don't they customize the goalposts? Make them wider.
Gina Della from Pella? How'd you get into the booth?
And why just yellow? Add some green stripes.
Sure, Gina. Should they also remove the G at midfield and paint a Pella crest?
Okay, Wayne, you can't customize a football game to go the way you want, but Pella can customize your home the way you want.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 36 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. It's 10/31/2024.
Don't miss a moment of football this season at 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. Your one-stop, must-stop viewing destination. 3rd Street Market Hall has over 15 locally owned food vendors, a self-serve beer wall, over 50...
We're just getting started. Nothing stops this train. Nothing.
Get used to the mantra, all gas, no brake, no brake, no brake.
From the headquarters of ESPN in Bristol, Connecticut, this is Carlin versus Joe on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
If they want to win, I guess the Cowboys should just play the rest of the games on the road because it's the only place they can. And I don't even know that they would. It's Carlin versus Joe, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80. That's just not even showing up. I don't know what that was yesterday. That is understanding who is coming in, what they're going to do, and still letting them come in and do it to you without a fight in that game, Joe.
On Jerry's birthday.
Oh.
That was Jerry's birthday.
82.
Like, no one says you have to win that game, right? It's the Lions. It's a very good football team, but to do that, wasn't that the worst home loss or something on since he's owned the team?
It's up there, 38 points. I don't know if it was the worst or not. I didn't see that number, but I've seen that in the last 3 home games going back to the playoff game last year, they have been outscored by 85 points.
Yeah, they're routinely giving up. At home this year, they gave up 432 yards to the Saints, which, by the way, that doesn't look very, very good anymore. It didn't look good at the time, but we thought maybe the Saints were something special. It turns out they stink. Yeah. Like, they're not very good at all. They've lost 4 straight. So you gave up 44 points and 432 yards to the Saints at home. You gave up 28 points and 456 yards to the Ravens at home. And then you gave up 47 points and 492 yards to the Lions at home. Grand total, 1,380 yards of offense in 3 games while being outscored by 66 total points. And that does not include the last game that was played at home last year, which was Green Bay coming into your house and absolutely mollywhopping you for 4 quarters on your own field. But again, what did you expect when you brought Mike McCarthy back? What did you expect? Did you think things like this weren't going to happen? Did you think things like this were outside the realm of possibility? No, absolutely not. This is a trademark of a McCarthy team. Somewhat sloppy, right? There are times where they can look good. There are times they can suck you in. There are times where they'll beat a team like the Steelers, and you'll think, all right, Dallas,